Hello and welcome to Bosch Professional Live UK. I'm Chris.
And I'm Danny, and joining us today on our questions and answer desk is Matt.
Hi everyone, my name's Matt and I work for Accessories, and like Danny said, I'll be doing your Q&A today.
Cool. So as it's a live stream, don't forget, pop your questions in the chat. We'll do our best to get around them as we go through the live stream. There's been quite a few different topics that we're going to go through. I'm sure you're going to ask some questions about power tools as well, but let's see if we can keep some of the subject, at least on the subject at hand, which is, Danny?
Today we're doing an AC live stream, so we're going to be covering all of the Bosch line accessories, the Pro line accessories, and of course the Expert accessories.
That's right, yes. So before we get started, maybe we'll have a little gander and see who's already in the chat. 'Cause I'm sure, Matt, have we got some of our usual regulars perhaps?
Let's have a look. Who's in the chat?
I can see Marcus, he's always a regular.
Yeah.
Delusional Portland. Yeah, we got Be Nice to Matt, he's new to the chat, so no foul language. We'll be checking, keeping an eye on you guys. We know what you guys are like in the chat, so be polite, of course. But who else we got? Yeah, we got Finor. Oh, yeah, you know what? I think, Matt, we've got some of the guys we usually have in there. So good to see you. Glad you've joined us for this AC special.
Yeah.
So I guess before we get too ahead of ourselves, and we've left it a couple minutes, we decided to start a little bit later, give you guys some time to join. But before we get started into the meat and potatoes of this presentation, let's play a little video to show you what exactly we're going to be talking about. So as we discussed, and hopefully as you saw in that video, what we want to discuss today is obviously the fact that we have a lot of accessories, and the fact that now what we're doing is we're dividing them up into those three performance classes that Danny just pointed out.
Exactly, much the same as we do with the tools. Today's live stream is basically about demystifying that and explaining exactly why we have the three different levels.
Now, we did a bit of market research, obviously not Dan and I, we're far too busy, but obviously Bosch did a bit of market research and we wanted to find out some of the, we call it pain points, so some of the problems you guys have out there when trying to choose different accessories. And there was a few questions that came back, and that's kind of what governed why we've made this decision to kind of radically redesign our packaging and categorize all of our accessories, and it's thousands, I think it's over 14,000 accessories last time I looked, into these three performance classes. Now, one of the reasons is, or one of the questions we got out there in the market is, why do you have all these different prices? Aren't they all just the same product?
Well, before, considering that we had different levels of products in the market, all the packaging for them looked exactly the same. Yeah. So you'd have to know specifically which actually outcome you wanted or what material you're using before you pick the correct accessory. Yeah. Now with a much more simplified solution, it's easier for you when you're standing on the shop floor to know exactly what you need for the task at hand.
So as an example, I've got some sandpaper, and this is in the original packaging. So if I just pop that onto the close-up camera, and you can see, essentially, it was all our packaging was this wooden paint. So essentially, like a white and grey, not white wooden paint, white and grey cardboard packaging, for example. Okay, and obviously that became quite confusing for a lot of people when they're looking at, say, you go into a store, for example, and you see an entire wall of Bosch accessories, and they're all the same.
Because, of course, everybody knows the difference between C430 and C470 sandpaper, don't they?
Of course you do. Okay, so so we actually found out that quite a lot of people, and we looked at it's about 85% of people, generally, if they're happy to admit, had trouble distinguishing between all of our different performance classes. Yeah. Because as Danny points out, they're all in the same packaging, and if you're trying to look through a sea of accessories on a wall, it's very hard to differentiate. Okay.
In some cases, you can even pick a product that will do the job better, but actually at a cheaper price point. So, makes sense.
Yeah. So another reason why we've decided to do this live stream, as a bit of market research, we realised there's a lot of people that actually go online to see if there's a better option for a specific material. And the majority of people, it's about 75% of people are going online now looking for information. Actually, a vast majority of people now buy things online. Exactly, so we've done a lot of work, well, I say obviously Matt and his team have done a lot of work redesigning our website to make it easier to find different accessories, easier for you to pick the right accessory for whatever things you're trying to do. And another thing we decided to do the live stream is obviously, we know a lot of people are obviously using YouTube as a form of resource to find information. So we thought, hey, the live streams are pretty popular. I think we might use this platform to try and, again, You will use the word demystify, but obviously allow you to see some different accessories firsthand, and hopefully believe us when we say that the performance price to cut and the performance is, you know, you really get what you pay for.
That's why I remember back at our Jigsaw blades when you had precision cut, you had fast cut, you had basic blades. Then on top of that, you had different finishes for different materials on top of that, and all of it was in the same packaging. So again, makes it a lot easier. And even we've gone down to putting pictures on the packaging, so you know exactly what material you need the accessories for.
And we'll spend a little bit of time, so I hope you can bear with us, but it's very important for us to actually go through what seems really mundane, but the packaging, to explain what all the bits mean, because that's fundamentally a really important part of the next thing, which is, why does my accessory wear out so fast? And that's a question a lot of people, we get that all the time. And it's actually, we actually found through a lot of our research that a lot of people are just picking the wrong accessory.
That's it.
Some of it's to do with skill, not skill, but it's skill. It's a lot of it's to do with.
I think skill's the wrong word. I think ignorance of the way to use the product correct, or to use the accessory correctly.
That's right. But then at the same time, there's a lot of times where actually just the completely incorrect accessories being picked for a certain material, for example. Okay, so that's actually a really big important one. But the real one that came down a lot was, you know, people were having trouble generally finding the right product, and they wish that we would simplify the accessories portfolio. So that is what, fingers crossed, what we've hopefully done with this new 3 performance level packaging.
Yeah. Okay. And when I say by ignorance, I don't mean that that it's horrible. No. It just means that a little education will help you use the accessory a lot better.
And then hopefully you'll find that that's what Danny and I do.
Not everybody know everything straight off the bat. So
exactly, and that's what we want to do with this live stream, is we want to try and help educate. That's what the live streams are about. It's just trying to educate you guys, and being open to admit that even when I started working here as a trainer, I definitely did not know everything about all the accessories. In fact, I think it would be unreasonable for anyone to know everything. But we will expect Matt to know everything about everything. Yes, surely. Okay, so when it comes to the accessories, we're only going to do, we've done a bit of a cross section across a lot of the different types of categories. There are actually, as you said, there's thousands of accessories within the Bosch portfolio, but actually they're kind of split into 5 or 6 different categories. Yeah. One of the main categories is what we call linear edge, and we're going to do quite a focus on them.
Yes.
That's jigsaws and recip saws, anything that's got a cutting edge, even OMT, multi-tool blades.
Even hole saws as well, considering they have a straight cutting edge. Yeah.
Something that we're not going to look at today necessarily, but we obviously could in future live streams if you thought this was beneficial. Obviously we do a lot of router bits and circular saw blades.
Yep.
Okay, we're not going to focus on those too much, partly because the machines are quite big, but we will probably do that in the new year if you ask us to do that. Obviously, we have a really wide range of different abrasives, so we'll have a look at some different types of abrasive.
Yeah, we're going to look at the flat sanding materials, but we also manufacture and the woven abrasives as well. So
that's right.
An entire factory dedicated to just manufacturing woven abrasives.
Yeah. And then the last few categories are products that are involving in either drill driving, or screw driving, grinding, and maybe construction. So that would be like your drill bits and your STS hammer bits and stuff. Yes. So we've got a little bit, we've got a few examples of some of those products. Yeah. But again, we're not going to, the range is too big. We can't cover all of them, but you'll see that we're trying to do a nice broad approach to a lot of different accessories. So if there are any accessories that we don't cover in this live stream, but you would like us to go into a bit more detail, especially how the different performance classes are for that specific type of accessory, pop it in the chat. Maybe let Matt know, and maybe we'll add that to the live stream, or maybe we'll still answer some questions. We just won't have any examples to show you.
Matt, if we don't get a chance to answer them today, and you missed the live stream, pop them in the comments below the video, and who knows, we can bring them up in a Q&A session next time we have one of those.
Okay, so is that enough preamble? That's given enough people enough time to get into the live stream. So as Danny presented at the beginning of this live stream, we're going to be looking at the Bosch 3 performance classes that we've got. Yes. So there are 3, as Dan points out. We call it the standard, or the Bosch performance line. Yep. Then we've got our Pro Bosch accessories, and lastly, you probably know this already.
Yeah, we've got our expert ones. These are the ones that we released first, and they've been out in the market for quite some time now. Very distinctive packaging when it comes to the expert range. Obviously, bold, blue, plenty of information on the package. You can pick what you need or what you want just at a glance. Okay, so as you can see here, this is an example of the Pro packaging. This is different to the standard packaging, which remember it had that was originally like the grey band at the bottom with the white top. Now the standard Bosch performance line
is going to be this white packaging. Now, this is kind of your, could we use the word entry level? I guess we could. This is your standard accessory.
Yes, your standard Bosch quality accessory, yeah.
Now, I don't want this to indicate that this is cheap and not good, because all Bosch accessories, in my personal opinion, are excellent accessories. There we go, going back. All excellent accessories. However, there are obviously different scales, and it's all about how much you are willing to pay to get that performance, or in many cases, it's going to be you need to purchase a more expensive accessory, even just to be able to do that application.
Exactly. When we're talking exotic materials and things like that, obviously to cut something, you need another material to cut it that's harder. Obviously, you're not going to cut plastic with a softer material. You have to have something tough there.
And we'll go into the greater detail, but what I'm trying to say here is actually the way we look at it, this is your 100% accessory. We've gone around it in a kind of unusual way, but we're saying, hey, this is top quality when it comes to whatever application and accessory you're using, and then as you go up, you get plus over 100% performance. Okay, so don't look at these as cheap accessories; they're not, but that you may want to consider different things for different applications.
These are the accessories that you've known and loved in the previous packaging.
That's right.
Just as new packaging.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that these are DIY accessories, not at all. These are still professional accessories for trade and industry.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so just to introduce all the different classes. So this is your Bosch line performance, and then we can move on to the Pro accessories.
So that's your Pro one there. Again, quite distinctively different from the Bosch performance line. Slightly darker packaging, grey in the middle there with the blue at the top and the bottom. Obviously with this you're going to get a longer run time, you've got slightly more exotic materials, and also you have a few features and benefits in there to assist it in the cut as well. So this is a curve tech, for instance, although you've got curve tech on that one.
Yeah, these are similar.
They're quite similar.
But we'll go through examples of different packaging and show you exactly how they differentiate.
Yeah, you may come up with things like this has got the depth on the side of it, whereas the other one doesn't. But largely it's down to the longevity of the blade.
There are many different factors, and again we'll explain the benefit to you and obviously how it's shown on the packaging. So at a glance you can quickly work out what you're getting for as you bump up through the different performance classes. So Bosch line, Pro, and lastly obviously we're going to have the Expert.
So this one's got all the bells and whistles, this one. So you're talking about carbide tech on there. You've also got coatings to keep the blade cooler, because of course the enemy to any sharpened blade is heat. That's going to dull the blade or cause the blade to dull sooner. And obviously you're using harder materials to cut other materials, so they wear less.
So if we bring all three into the shot, you can see very easily, let's move across, you see then obviously, so all white packaging, and then you've got for the Bosch line, for Pro packaging, you can see then you're starting to bring in some more of that blue, that professional colouring, and then when you go to Expert, obviously it's all blue with the distinctive red slash for the Expert line.
Yeah, you'll see on the packaging there that the materials that are actually shown down here, so you can see the iconography here. They do different cuts, so you'll find as we go up through the range from the Bosch performance all the way up to the Expert, there's more and more materials added, meaning these blades are capable of doing much more the more you go up in price. Yeah,
actually, well, on that note, how about we go into the packaging in a little bit more detail? We guess we could use these examples. So let's stick with the Expert accessories, for example. Okay, so the first thing obviously is going to be the technical information, and that's going to be the kind of information that you have on the top of the accessory there. Okay, you're going to have things like the product name. Okay, you may have a multi-pack, so you actually have a quantity on there, so it might be 3 in a packet. This one is a singular one, so there's no numerical value there. And then you're going to have stuff like the dimensions or what the actual blade's designed for. This one, as you can see, this is a Star Lock blade. So if that was a Star Lock Plus or anything else, then it will have a slightly different wording on there. I'll get let me see if I can get a recip saw blade out as an example. Let me show you this as a recip saw blade. So if I'll have to bring it in a bit in front of your one, Dan. For a second.
I should move back.
Actually, let's test the overhead. Let's see if it's playing ball. Overhead camera, please. Yes, perfect. Right. So at the top here, you can see you've got your quantity one. You've got the name of the product itself. And then you can see on this particular one, it's giving you, the specification saying what kind of profile metal pipe it's able to work with.
Maximum cutting depth in this case when it comes to pipe work.
Yes. So depending on which different accessory you've got, you'll have a different bit of information in that technical information. But it's very important to point out that, you know, you've got a lot of people out there that obviously want to exceed whatever we've given as a specification. So you might have like, I don't know, some drill bits or whatever.
Yeah.
Or what, or again, like recip saw blades, jigsaw blades, especially if you're working in hard material. If you're trying to cut, say, I don't know, 5mm stainless steel, but your jigsaw blade is only designed, even if it's an expert blade, to do 3mm.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, same as if it's for cutting mild steel and not stainless, and again, you're going to have a pretty tough time, or you're going to get through a lot of blades.
Well, that's excellent. Let's move on to the next part, which is, as Dan's kind of already alluded to, it's the material. So let's use the multi-tool blade as an example of the packaging.
There you go.
You can see that very clearly we made a change from our previous accessories.
I'll try and get that so it's not
Yeah, it's
reflecting.
quite shiny, I'm afraid. But you can see, there we go. You've got very clear images, essentially. It's not iconography, it's images now.
Yes.
Showing you exactly what this accessory is able to do. In this case, that looks like it would embedded with nails, for example.
Yep.
It will do things like fiberglass, brick, and it will do plastics as well, I believe.
And when we say it will do brick, it really will do brick. I've used this quite extensively. I initially thought when this came out that it was capable of brick strikes, as in if you were cutting through material and you hit a brick. But no, this will do bricks. It will go straight through it.
On the recip saw blade, I'll bring it in. Yes, okay. As another example, just show you some different options. You see here that this one is designed for mild steel and stainless steel, for example. Okay, and you've got a little other icon, so 3 little hammers, so you're saying it's really tough. And this is, as an example of accessory, is really tough. That's what allows it to do both steel and stainless steel. Okay, so we've tried to make it easier for you with the packaging to make sure that the whatever the material is used for is clearly put on the package. It sounds like a really simple thing to do. We used to use it slightly differently, using different graphics, but we think that this is a bit easier.
Yeah. Have you ever have any trouble working out exactly what these actually represent? Because I mean, sometimes if you're not familiar with the material before you go to cut it, this can be found online.
Yeah.
So it's all on the accessory part of the website, and it's got colour pictures of exactly what these images are,
If you hover
with a full description of what they are.
If you hover over them with your mouse cursor, for example, then it will actually tell you in writing what that icon is supposed to be.
If you need that, you should be able to work it out by the image on
You
there.
get used to them. There's one I had to learn recently, which I couldn't work out what it was, but it's automotive paint.
Oh, right.
I'll
Okay.
point that out in a little bit. One of the last products that we're going to look at today is also suitable for automotives. Okay, right. So the next thing we've got is, I guess you call it our technology. Okay, so on this one again.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, I'll point it. Okay, so here we say that one features carbide technology. Okay, so there might be a few different things in regards to that. It might be something more about particle control. It might be about geometry. It might be prisma technology, and it might be things even as mundane as vibration reduction technology.
Yeah.
So on this one and plenty of the accessories we're going to look at today, it's things like carbide technology.
Exactly. You're going to find all the exotic materials in the expert range. So all your diamond stuff and all your carbides and stuff like that is all going to be found in the expert range. But then again, you're getting second to none quality in there.
Yeah. Obviously, if there's a technology involved in the product, then there's probably going to be some kind of benefit. So again, if I pop onto the close-up camera, you'll see here, then you've got your plus 50 times. And obviously you need something to apply to that value. And obviously we're saying here, it's long lifetime.
Yeah.
You see there's a lot of different things. It might be faster, it might be cleaner. But in this case, you're talking about longevity for this particular day when it comes to what we call the key benefits.
Yes.
Okay, so carbide, 50 times longer lifetime, so an outstanding product. The last little few things is going to be to do with the fitment. I've got 2 examples again. I'll keep using the Recip because it's a good alternative. But if I again close shut, you'll see on the bottom here that it tells you what kind of fitment it's got. It might say something like universal brand fit. That's what
I think
Recip
that's
store has.
got Bosch, Fine, and a couple of other manufacturers on there. Basically, the ones that use Starlock are going to be the ones that this is compatible with.
Exactly. So I'll get the Recip saw blade as an example. You can see, hopefully, we'll get that a little closer.
That'll be universal brand fit because all manufacturers use S shank now. So
I think if we go to the jigsaw blades as well, probably.
they'll say T at the beginning.
I think the packaging's a little smaller on that one. So
It's long life, but again, it's prefaced with a T on there as well, right at the top in the number. If you can see it, see that first letter there denotes what type shank it is, what fitment it is.
Well, and I was going to say, yeah, and obviously the recip saw blades are S.
Yes.
But we'll explain the naming structure in a little bit. We don't want to go into too much detail.
Yeah, it does get a bit nerdy, this bit.
That's right, yeah.
Well,
So again, if you are really struggling, if you're some very peculiar kind of colorblind, I don't think one that exists that can't tell the difference between, say, white, silver, and blue, then at the same time, we've made sure that we've put the actual the performance category at the bottom here. So the Pro and Expert, you can see clearly at the bottom, Expert, and then you've got Pro. With the Bosch line, it just has the Bosch branding there.
Yep.
So no, I don't think there's any misunderstanding on what you're looking at. Obviously, the packaging itself is clearly denoted by the colours, but just to make it extra clear, we also put a little strip on the bottom.
yeah.
Now, well, that's fun. Hopefully that wasn't too boring and it kind of gets through all the information. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at a few of the specific accessories that we want to look at and some of the differences between each one as you go up from the Bosch to the Pro to the Expert equivalent of that product.
Yes.
But before we start, let's have a little pause and see, Matt, have we had any burning questions yet, or are they a rabble? Are they being difficult?
We've had a few questions, yes. Sander Watcher asked, will there be a dust extraction accessory for the upcoming 180mm EXWS 18B?
EXWS, did you say?
Yeah.
The 180? There already technically is.
There's
There's currently a
180P,
cutting hood or
Yeah.
cover that has, I think it's a click and clean extraction
It
port.
clips over instead of the standard cutting metal attachment that you have, but it has a dust port that comes off the side. There is no foot plate, so it
Yes.
doesn't have a support plate for wall chasing, for instance.
Yeah, it's at the moment that's what we've currently got.
that's
We
what
would
we've
have liked to have a dedicated GDE in the same format that you're familiar with the 125.
Yep, something that clips over the guard,
Yeah.
something like that with a foot plate and
230.
depth adjustment. That would have been nice. But currently, we do have one, but it's probably not the one you're looking for. Although it is a dust extraction for that particular model.
But on that note, if you are looking at doing wall chasing, maybe you might need to join us for our end of year roundup live stream in December. So in a couple of weeks actually when we do it. I think I looked at the team, they can
Not
remind me
long
what
now.
date it is. But it's the second week of December. It's the 10th of December. And maybe if you're very nice to us on our Christmas special, we might tell you why there might be an alternative machine worth waiting for just a few weeks.
Oh, it's worth the wait. It really is worth the wait.
Yeah. But no, as you described, we've got a dust hood that will hopefully be sufficient on that machine. Right, ramble over. Matt, any more questions?
We have another one from Sander Watcher, sticking on the dust theme. Any update on a recip dust extractor?
That's a question. If you are aware of...
There is a brand
one,
out there that manufactures a dust extraction hood for recip. Not something...
But is that a third party one? It's not one of the main manufacturers, is it?
No, I think it's one of the main manufacturers.
okay.
I'll have to look into it a bit further. But I think that there's definitely one out there, but not from us, unfortunately. So not from Bosch, but be interested to find out if it is a multi-brand fit. That would be handy.
Yes,
But
it is something that, again, like always, it's something that we always bring up because we want to have dust extraction on all available machines, and recip for us, yes.
you're
it's an issue for
probably
us.
picking out the one that we don't cover, or the one that we really do want to cover. But again, as you can imagine, a recip saw is going to be very difficult to get a good quality dust extraction hood for that. So, yeah, I'm sure the boffins are thinking about it somewhere.
Sure. Any more questions, Matt?
We've got one more question from MA5EN, Marvin maybe. Why isn't there a Bosch Pro Expert version of every product?
Every product? Maybe you're thinking every category, perhaps.
Yes.
Maybe there will be soon. Obviously, we are rolling out the Expert Power Tool range.
Yep.
And you will see as we go through next year, for example, I'm pretty sure you'll see some more products added to the Expert range. You're probably going to see quite a big, we call it a big bang, where you're going to have a lot of products launched at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
Then it'll not
A lot,
quite a lot, and then you will see as the roadmap continues that you will have more and more products added to the range.
But you think about the content of range that we currently do. We obviously do DIY tools, we do pro tools, and now we're doing the expert tools. We also got industrial tools in there as well. So we've already got 3 categories in just the pro side anyway. 4 if you count DIY. So yeah, just not classed or not named the same way.
Yeah, I'm just reading some of the chat there. I see you are discussing about the dust extraction on the angle grinders. Yeah. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on those ones as well for you. Right. Okay. Any more, Matt, or should we get back into it?
I reckon we get back into it.
Okay, right. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to start off talking about some of the different performance grades that we've got for what we call OMT. So that's our oscillating multi-tools. I've got some examples of some blades, but what I thought we would do, again, as Danny pointed out, we wanted to kind of demystify you a little bit. But really what I want to do here is prove a point that it's not random, that the names and the names that we put on our products aren't necessarily random. So I've got
To be fair, I'm actually wondering how many people out there have actually taken a look at the blades that they buy and had a look at the writing on them.
Yeah.
Because there's a massive amount of information stamped straight on the front of the blade for you.
Now, we're not going to go into a lot of detail. If you really want to read some of these images that we're going to put up in a few seconds, you feel free to pause the video and have a look at them. But you don't need to go into a lot of detail. Actually, Danny and I, we actually went through quite a lot of depth when it came to the multi-tools in our multi-tool special.
Oh God, yes, that's not one I probably needs updating, but
I'm
not
will.
sure I want to do it.
We
because
will.
there's so many blades.
Yeah, we'll have to because we've started to add new color codes to our,
Yes, we have,
some
yeah.
of our OMT blades
Yeah,
since
it's
then.
out now.
But as an example, let's pop up the video. Let's pop up the.
Showbiz.
There we
There you go.
Okay, so here's an example of obviously a lot of the different features on many of our multi-tools. It's not the words aren't just random. There is some point to all the bits of information on there.
Yep.
The main things obviously want to point out is you've got things like your color coding. So here you've got the color gray for wood, for example. Guess what? If you use that blade, the one on the screen, for anything other than wood,
Yeah, it doesn't last long.
yeah, surprise, surprise. If you try using it for metals, brick, you're not going to have much of a blade left by the end of the first plunge, I'm sure.
It does pay to actually mention here when it says wood, it is all encompassing, as in hardwood and softwoods. So
of course.
no problem at all.
Yeah, you can see things like that technology, for example, at the other end of the accessory. So there's your curve tech that, again, Dan pointed out at the beginning. But then you've got things like the blade model, and you've even got on many of the Pro and above, or actually pretty much all the Bosch line accessories, you've got your scale there as well, which is, believe it or not, quite useful, especially if you don't want to over plunge through plasterboard, for example.
Yeah, if you want a specific millimeter depth of plunge in timber, or you know that, for instance, the drywall that you're going through is 18 millimeters deep or maybe 18 millimeters thick, and you're worried about catching something on the other side, you can put a bit of tape, or you can just watch that as you're plunging.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Now, there's lots of other information on here that might talk about what the actual accessory is made for, what it's made with. We'll show you some of that on the next accessories as well. But essentially, you can look at the accessory, get the color coding. You can see that there's a performance category. This one's a Starlock blade, but personally, you get used to it and you can easily work out which of the 3 performance classes it is by just looking at the fitment. So this one's got holes in it. That's a Starlock blade.
Yeah.
If you cut to the next image, you can see the naming structure for our accessories is not random.
No.
But I'm not going to bore you with it. Why? Because it's very hardcore. If you go to the next image as well, you can see that even the letters at the end all are relevant to something to do with the accessory material, what it's made out of.
Yeah.
But again, you don't want to spend too much time. Just buy the cut. Just make sure you buy the diamond or the hardcore stuff, and you'll be fine. That's my idea.
If you do want to nerd out and work out exactly what blade you need to cut what material at what speed, you can dissect the number and work out the exact number of the product that you need to get hold of.
Yeah. But again, if you want to see more information, feel free to pause the video and look back at some of those charts. Or again, we did a whole live stream on just our multi-tool blades where we explained, you don't need to know exactly if it's high carbon steel, if it's bimetal, because we did that live stream where we said this is exactly what you should be using it for, and try to again demystify what OMT is about. So the first blade we want to talk about is going to be, say for example, this one. This is part of the Bosch line. So I don't have it in packaging. Got some behind you, but you've got an idea already.
Yep.
So this is the AIZ20AB. This is a plunge blade.
Yes, 20 millimeter width plunge blade. Again, it's still got the measurements down the side of it, and it's still got all of the information on the actual blade. So yeah, it's got everything you need there. It doesn't have any of the wing tips or anything like that, or the thinned out blade body that you would find on a Pro blade, for instance. However, you've still got all of the Swiss technology built into this that you will find on the other blades.
On that note, actually, I'm going to go grab the packaging for all 3 of these blades, because then again, we can use that to reference what we're talking about in regards to material. So if you look closely at the blade, and the packaging might actually make it easier to see, you can see that it's actually this new color that we're using. So it's actually white for multi-material.
Yeah.
For the hardcore fanboys out there that know our OMT blades, you might remember that it's a kind of a pinky purple.
Purple. We had a debate
Lavender,
about this at the time.
magenta.
Magenta, it's purple.
That was the original color
Yeah.
for multi-material. We've decided, in all our Bosch wisdom, to roll together wooden metal.
Because wooden metal's a multi-material.
Yep.
So I kind of see the logic in it. But I do miss the purple, to be fair. It was easily visible on a shelf.
So multi-material is now, or white is now multi-material, and this blade is multi-material because, as you can see here from the packaging, it's designed to work with non-ferrous metals. You can use it for plastics, and you can use it for wood and laminated wood.
Yeah.
Okay. So the advantage here, obviously, it's still, as a normal Bosch accessory, it's still got long life. Okay, it's a bi-metal, especially it's got a long life when cutting wood and non-ferrous metal, for example.
Yeah.
Now, we've got a few other blades, and then I think, Dan, you fancy doing a few little demonstrations to see
Yes.
if we get much of a difference on our little demo in performance.
Yeah, we'll cut a few bits of material, gradually getting worse as we go through, or harder as we go through, and just to see how long the blade lasts.
Okay, next one up. This one is part of our Pro range, and you can see here, packaging is now the grey and blue. Okay, this is the AIZ 32 APIB. Fancy.
Catchy.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Okay, still multi-material. We've got a few extra materials added to it, and one of probably the primary ones you can see there is now it's got like nail embedded wood, for example. So this is a great accessory if you're not sure what you're working, if you're doing some demolition work, or if you're plunge cutting into things that may have metal, may have nails in it, then this means that this blade potentially could work up to 5 times longer compared to the previous blade.
So this will cope with ferrous materials, whereas the other one was non-ferrous materials. So this would be, say, for instance, staples on the previous one when you're talking about nails on this.
Yeah, a lot of that is to do with this extra coating that we've added. It's on the blade description there, it's on the packaging as well to say, and then you can see there's your metric, so up to 5 times longer life compared to the alternatives. Usually that's going to be compared to the performance below, or not below, sorry, it's always going to be compared to the Bosch line accessory. So this would be an ideal this would be an ideal accessory if, again, you're not sure, or you want to make sure that if you are plunging into stuff that you don't want to prematurely burn out your blade.
That's it. So if you're thinking about maybe going for an expert blade, but budget can't stretch to it, go for the Pro and see what the gain that you'll get from that, and then you'll get even more gain from the expert should you choose to go for that in the future.
Cool.
And it will run for longer.
Okay, last one up is, we've got an example here of some, expert accessories. Okay, and obviously you can see here blue packaging, and this you can see that already the accessory itself has got some fancy, nice little expert graphics on it, a bit of red and an extra coat, a little line at the bottom there with the extra coating. So this has got an even better coating essentially, and these coatings, they're designed to help pull heat out of, or pull heat away from
the teeth,
because obviously the teeth building up heat is what happens and what dulls the accessories.
Yeah, you'll still find the blade getting hot, but the heat is being drawn backwards away from the actual the teeth itself. So,
Now the advantage with that kind of accessory, as you can see from the packaging, is that this is now able to last up to 50 times longer compared to the standard Bosch line accessory. That is pretty impressive, to be honest.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you have people that you have a lot of feedback, we'll say, that your multi-tool blades are burning out. That's probably the reason, is that obviously you're using it on quite aggressive material, and you really do want to upgrade from a bi-metal to a carbide tooth design to resist that.
I remember when I did a demonstration, it was cutting some railway line, and I was using a Reciprocating blade, and I used the old branded one without the extra coating, and actually blade lasted probably about half the time of the one with the actual special coating on there. So yeah, it really does make a difference as well.
Right, so Dan, we were thinking about doing a little demonstration. What have you got planned for us?
Right, I was going to do 3 demonstrations with all of those blades you've got there. So currently here I have a very high-tech demo. I have a mild steel nail, thin one, slightly thicker mild steel nail, screw, and another screw there, slightly bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at one end with all 3 of the blades. I've got 3 of these little rigs, and we're going to see how quickly we can get through them,
You
or
mean-
the state of the blade after we've got through them.
Okay, right. So, what do we need? Well, first off, I'll get you a multi-tool. That's a good start.
Yep, you grab that. I will clamp this down so it doesn't end up skating all over the table.
Cut to
As
the
fun
one.
as it will be. Here we go.
All right, so we're going to use the GOP 18V-34.
Yep.
We thought we might bring out another machine, but you know what? We've given you too many sneak peeks.
I think you've seen it in a
Nothing
couple
wro-
of the shorts that have gone out. yeah.
Nothing wrong with this bad boy, and we thought, hey, it's a machine you're familiar with, so let's use this as an example. So what have you got? You got a couple of nails, a couple of screws. So
Yep.
the first blade we've got is going to be the normal blade.
Yeah. So we're going to use this standard, the Bosch Performance blade. I am going to pop this blade sideways in the multi-tool. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to move the machine backwards and forwards whilst I'm cutting to prevent the heat building up in the actual teeth of the blade. So this is a good tip when it comes to using a multi-tool blade to get the most life out of it as well. I can put it straight, but the action of doing that, sometimes you slip off the material. This, you can keep an eye on the blade and make sure that it's on cut at all times.
Now, in true, perfect Bosch Professional live form, we haven't necessarily tested this particular
Nope,
demonstration.
haven't done this one yet.
Now, what we were thinking about doing is, I wonder whether or not we can get the accessory to fail. Maybe we won't actually get it to fail because, unfortunately for us in this demonstration, even Bosch line accessories are really good. A lot of what we want to show, or a lot of what you see with the different performance grades of these accessories is longevity. So even if we don't get this to fail, the difference would be that if the expert blades, for example, would probably last a lot longer. And as we said, it's up to that 50 times longer compared to this type of accessory. This is just going to be a few cuts, which we'll find out whether or not it's suitable for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, first thing, safety glasses. And you know you've all been waiting for it.
Looking
There you
good.
go.
Looking good as always.
Nice, sharp.
All right. Okay. So over to you, mate.
Right, give this a go. Right, start off here, work my way down. Oh.
Well, now, so I better wait for the mics to turn back up. So good, the demonstration is working correctly because we've not necessarily made obviously the Pro blade, the normal Bosch blade, isn't necessarily designed for nail embedded wood. It's not on the packaging, you see.
Remember, we're dealing with ferrous nails here. And this isn't spec'd for ferrous material. This is for non-ferrous.
How far do we
metal.
get?
I'm about halfway through. I think I can, hang on. No, I'm about halfway through.
Right.
Still quite tough.
Good. Okay, so demos that almost work. Demos that work well. Okay, so the next one we've got up is we're going to now use the Pro blade. Do you want to carry on with this one? Just the same bit, or do you want to start with a new one?
I'll start with a new one. We'll
Yeah.
go from there. I'm going to pop that there because I don't want to touch that. Probably a little bit warm. All right, here we go.
Now, the advantage with this blade, as I said, is that it has that extra coating. You can be obviously a bit more aggressive with the Pro blade, and obviously, as the packages indicate, this is designed to be working in things like nail embedded wood. We'll see, well, I say see, we'll work through the two different gauges of nails, and then, depending,
We'll see how far we get
see how
with
far
the...
you get, and then we'll move on to some galvanized screws
Yes.
and see if that's successful.
Right, full speed again. Pop the blade on. Oh, put it sideways. There you go.
Good luck.
There you go. One.
Okay, I'm going to we're going to do something we've not done before. We're going to use, we take the heat, Yeah, it's not too bad.
Touch the end when you do what?
Not too bad. Right, guess what? We've got something new and fancy to show you. We want to show you our new close-up. I don't know what we're going to call it, the super close-up lens. Let's see how it's going to work today. Let's test it today. Yes,
Wow,
there we go.
that's close.
That's close. Let's maybe even get closer. So, it's going to make it harder for me to keep it on camera. But you can see on this particular blade that last nail it's giving it a bit of struggle. It's giving it a bit of trouble. So we're going to do the last little bits and now work on the galvanized screws, which again I think is going to defeat it. Here is the Pro blade. Tell you what, yeah, I can see where you're having a bit of trouble. So obviously that wasn't. This would be designed for your like your copper pipes and stuff, for your plastics, for your wooden stuff and your composites, for example.
Yeah, if you're plunging into a pallet or cutting those brass nails, brass staples, stuff like that. Yeah.
But as you can see, we've deliberately gone for something that this blade isn't designed for. With the Pro blade, we were pretty aggressive. Okay, still got some teeth. It's still going to cut. Okay, still feels keen. But I bet you when we now go back to try it with the screws,
Oh, you want
I
to
reckon
screws? Yeah.
this will burn it out. And that's what I'd expect to see.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
This will surprise you now.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
What? Ready?
Yes. Hey,
Surprise.
pretty good actually for a blade that's not necessarily designed for it. How are we doing for teeth? Look, yeah, they're looking a little bit worse. Do you want to try one more and see if we get going?
I think we'll get through that.
Come on,
I
let's
think
go.
we will.
Okay, as I said, hopefully, you always said we wanted to see demos, so I do apologise if it seems a bit mundane, but this is how we do our demos.
Yeah.
So let's see what we get. Let's keep going. So, it is possible.
It got it, but there is definite signs of wear on those teeth
Yeah,
there.
so you might find with any subsequent ones, if you're doing particularly a large amount of screws specifically, then maybe we wouldn't, well not maybe, that's why we wouldn't necessarily recommend that particular blade. Now let's move on to the last one, obviously the Expert blade. Now this one has the carbide technology, or the carbide teeth, with that extra coating layer that helps give it a better lifespan. For this one, obviously Dan will just repeat the same process, and
Yep.
maybe what we'll do is we'll inspect the quality of the teeth between the Expert blade and the Pro blade that still did it,
Yes.
but we pretty much set this demo up to try and push the Pro blade to its limit.
Yes. I mean, there's still got life left in that. Quite a bit, to be fair. But I'm hoping to get this one done a lot quicker as well.
Yes.
Because obviously, remember, this has got the carbide teeth on it as well. So a much harder material keeps a keen edge for far longer in use. So we'll give it a go. Is that my... Is that ready? All good?
Right, well done.
There we go.
Right, well, we just...
That tells the story, doesn't it?
Now, you were able to be a bit more aggressive. I saw some comments in the chat there, but we are trying to do something very specific, be a bit more aggressive, trying to actually use them a bit more like how you guys, we know what you guys are like out there.
Or how you would want to use them. That's the important part.
Now, Dan did a bit extra technique. Sometimes some people just kind of plant the accessory on it and then just kind
I'm
of
trying
push through
to
it.
spread the heat out over as many teeth at any one time. So you're allowing them to cool down between the actual cuts.
Now, right, so let me just check they're not too warm. Not too bad. Right, so if we cut back, Ollie, to the super close-up lens. I'm enjoying this. This is working well. Let's have a look here. So just adjust that. So this was the Pro blade. You can see by the time we had that second screw, that we really took off quite a few of the teeth on that one, or at least rounded them off so they're not as aggressive. It still feels pretty good, so maybe you could still use that for some of the lighter applications. But I probably burn out. You probably burn that out if you do too many more of those screws, for example. Now here we go. Let me
I feel far more confident with the Expert one because I know for a fact that how much pressure I can put on.
Now I assure you, this is the same blade.
It's the same blade.
This isn't one I just got out of packaging, okay? And as you can see there, with the carbide teeth, the extra coating as well, that, as far as I'm concerned, might also just be brand new.
I'd pop that back in the packet.
Yeah, don't tell anyone. We'll put it back into stock. No, we'll sign it. We'll sign it and put it back into stock. So, although it's a bit of an unusual demo, we are trying to make demos that are showing. We're not trying to like show Bosch or Pro accessories badly.
No.
But you're seeing here is a good example that, in many cases, if you're using it incorrectly or overly aggressively, that you can obviously wear out these accessories.
Remember, we were using that first Bosch performance accessory outside of its comfort zone, basically.
And that's important to point out. I don't want anyone saying, "Oh, the Bosch or the Pro accessories are bad." That's not what we're trying to prove here. We're just trying to find some demonstrations that show where there's a difference.
Yeah.
You'll see ones, especially when you do the Jigsaw blades. We know we're using the Jigsaw blades completely inappropriately, but it really does illustrate the point of how good.
It's torture
Expert can
testing,
be.
really, isn't it? It's to show, in worst case scenario, how they perform. But to anyone out there who's thinking that I applied more pressure, not at all. If I'd applied more pressure, I'd have slipped off of it.
Yes.
But I was being aggressive with all three of them, it has to be said. But
cool.
again, that's the purpose of torture testing.
Okay, right. So I think that's a good example just to show again the 3 different performance categories. Just to remind everyone, in case if you're late to the party, that we're showing the 3 different types, Bosch, Pro and Expert OMT blades. Matt, right. Wonder whether or not we've had many questions or maybe just people having a little discussion in the chat there. I don't know. What have we got? Anything?
A few discussions going on. We had a question from Delusional Portland about the possibility of a 9-inch Starlet Plus or Max blade.
Wow.
9 inches.
That's going to move in the end, isn't it?
That'll be definitely something that you'd want to reserve for the newer machines coming out, if possible. But
I think the vibration would be terrifying.
yes.
And holding onto the machine when it actually bites into the material would be.
But that's somewhat. I mean, that's quite, and I guess I'd love to know what you're needing that level of depth for, depth cutting. You really having to reach out and touch someone with that.
Yes, that would be.
I mean, I don't think so. I presume, Matt, you're not aware of us going with even longer multi-tool blades. I think you probably have a bit more familiar with the roadmap, but I've not seen any super long OMT. Have you?
No.
Okay. Cool. Any more questions, please, mate?
I think we're good for the moment.
Oh, pretty good.
Oh, none more for the moment. Sorry, I didn't hear you there. Sorry. Okay, I got totally distracted.
Yeah, you
there.
get used to it after a while, mate.
Okay, well then we'll move on to the next category, which is going to be looking at some of our Reciprocating blades.
Yes.
Now this isn't something that we were thinking about doing a demonstration, but again we're going to have to wait till we move to the new build.
Last time we tried that, we pretty much filled your laptop speakers up with swarf.
Yes.
So
yes.
trying to avoid that.
Yeah, we're not going to. Some of the comparisons we could have done would have been some of our wood Reciprocating blades.
Yeah.
We decided actually to go for metal blades because actually some of the performance differences between the 3 different categories on that are huge. But that is correct. I don't want to fill up the studio and our cameras with metal dust.
Yes.
Definitely don't want to put more metal dust into my laptop. But more importantly, we just don't have the rigging here to do a decent metal demonstration. We'll keep it to relatively safe stuff. Yeah. But the first blade we want to have a look at, which is part of the standard Bosch line, is going to be this one here, which is an S112BF. Okay, this is a, as it says, flexible for metal. Just to prove it. Yep, a flexible for metal reciprocating saw blade.
I particularly like this one because it allows you to do flush cuts, so you can really bend the blade down when you're reciprocating to basically flush cut metal, nails, screws,
Yeah,
you name it.
If something's
this will
if
cut
something
through.
like, say for example, a boiler or whatever's like really up against, really flush against the wall, then you can get behind it. And
Yeah,
cut
you
that
can
right at
cut the
wall.
bolts flush
That's
with
right.
the wall, yeah.
Now, I guess you could say that the example here, this is obviously from the naming structure at the back here, you can see that this is a bimetal blade. Okay, this is what we would expect for a Bosch line accessory. And obviously it comes in a different, I think it comes in a number of different lengths. And obviously it depends on what you're using it for. Again, it's going to be ferrous and non-ferrous, but we would be wanting to avoid things like stainless steel for this particular
Yeah,
one.
I think this is the third length, or the
The middle length.
second from top.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Second from top length that we do. I think we do a one slightly longer than that. But,
Yeah. So I don't need to go into too much detail. Obviously, you're looking at high carbon steel for these particular accessories, which is still really ideal for working in metal. However, we have some other options that make it, in many cases, a bit more interesting, depending on what you're trying to do with it. I don't need to go into too much about the naming structure. We'll show you what things like tooth pitch and TPI means when we come to the jigsaw blades. But
Yes.
again, all the information's on the packaging. Have I got some packaging? Probably I'll use it for the pro ones later.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
we
I
keep it all on the end of the shank there. Obviously, as an S shank, then that works with all the standard STS and quick release systems. that
yeah,
we've got.
you'll find this will actually work with U-shank machines as well. So the old style of shank had two little ears on it, which would actually fit into the machine. This will fit in those machines as well. So they designed the S shank to fit both.
Oh, they're over here, the packaging. I'm going to go grab them now.
Oh yes, you hid them over there. Ah, you got the old packaging. For that.
Here's a good
Yes.
example, yes, to say that something you might discover as you're still out there in the market for the Expo and the Pro accessories. In most cases, all the old packaging is now filtered away. Okay, because they are the same. For many, they're actually the same part number if it's not a newer product.
Yeah.
Here you can see that the flexible metal we've got here as an example is coming in the old packaging.
Yeah. One thing you'll all find as well when we're talking about these new ranges of products, or the Pro line, the Professional, and the Expert, they're all coming in sustainable packaging now. So we're not using blister packs anymore with any plastics or single-use plastics. So it's all recyclable material now.
Okay, last little bits of information, again, just for this particular blade, just to show that they are similar to the ones that we're going to show later. It's a tooth pitch of 1.8 millimeters, and again, it's ideal for cutting pipe and profiles, up to a wall thickness of 3 to 8 millimeters.
That's- yeah.
And that's going to be your ferrous and non-ferrous metals, but avoiding stainless steel for this particular blade.
So that would do your drain pipe or your soil pipe, that sort of thing, with ease, your cast iron stuff as well.
So again, important, we are not here to diminish the standard Bosch line.
No.
Okay, so it's always horses for courses. Buy the most appropriate accessory for your price range and also what application you're doing. Now, if I step up from the standard Bosch line and move on to the Pro line, so now we're moving to this particular accessory as an equivalent to, say, that flexible one, and now we're looking at the Pro medium thick precise blade. So this is going to be the S1137BF. Let me just check. Have I got the right name? Yes, I have. BEF is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I show you the actual accessory inside, this is what we're looking at. And it's actually quite an interesting design. This is a newer blade.
Yes, I've actually found this one a lot easier to use, or definitely a lot easier to start cuts with, thanks to its little curve that it has.
Yes.
there.
So this is not just a little paint job. It is actually designed to have it's very difficult to see, but there's a slight curve to it. We've accentuated the look of the curve by that paint there, but there is a slight curve, and that actually helps it work a little easier.
Pop it on top of there and hold it flat. I'm not sure whether the camera will pick it up, but I can see it from here.
It's hard to see on the camera.
Yeah.
From looking from the other side, we can see light coming through the other side.
No, you can't see. Oh, you can just about see a little bit of shadow there. But there is a gap. It's only very small, but what that does is it allows the blade to sit over the material you're cutting and bite in with more surface area.
Yeah. So when you're starting your cut, it's a little bit easier, especially when you're working in metal, for example, because obviously you're more likely to slide all over it in that initial.
When you're
plunge.
coming up with any sort of cutting process, it's important to get as many teeth in the cut as possible. This comes into play when you're talking about circular saw blades as well. You want basically one tooth protruding through, so you get the maximum amount of teeth in the cut, and that's what this does. It gives you more surface area in contact with the material and biting in initially to get you started.
Now with this particular one, because it is a medium thick, then it's a bit more robust and a bit better for doing things with straight cuts, for example. Okay, you've already mentioned that 3x3 geometry and also this little curve cut section here. The other benefit, or the main benefit here with this accessory, is that it's got up to that 5 times longer lifetime. It's on the packaging here, just again to illustrate that point, that this is what's the main benefit or feature to this product. Okay, it's still using a bimetal, I believe, or special bimetal welding, but there's some special things that we've done to this accessory to make it a bit better when it comes to longevity. In fact, actually, because we can't demo this particular one, or we're not choosing to demo it today, instead what we've got one of our nice nifty little accessory videos that will really show you in a really cool way exactly what the benefits are for this particular blade. So Ollie, if you don't mind running the VT for us. Okay, right, so hopefully that video did a better job than, or at least help those that lack the imagination or don't believe me necessarily. Maybe what we'll do in the future is we'll do, again, another demonstration. Maybe we'll pre-record it. We had some time to pre-record some of the demonstrations that we wanted to show. Yeah. But again, we really wanted to take this opportunity to do as many live demonstrations. So we'll be doing that with some other accessories.
Maybe if we record rail cut again, but with an update with some of the newer blades. I'd like to see how that one performs in the rail.
I don't think, however, it will perform as well as this bad boy. So we've gone from the Pro Reciprocating blades now to an Expert one. Yeah. So here we've got one of the fond favourites for both Dan and I.
Yes.
So now we're looking at the Expert medium thick metal, the S1155. HHM? We check. HHM. Oh, I'm feeling proud of myself at the moment. So what we've got here, Expert blade and carbide technology. Okay, and again, the benefit for this blade is the fact that you're now dealing with up to 50 times longer life. A lot of that's due to the fact that again you're working with that. Not due to, it is because of the carbide teeth that you've got on there.
Yeah. Bear in mind that with this particular blade, we can turn one piece of railway line into 2 pieces of railway line with one blade.
I would argue much faster than you could do even with a large angle grinder.
Yes, we know that from personal experience.
First hand, a much quicker and much more efficient way of using a reciprocating blade to cut rail.
Yeah.
The example, not the example, but the benefit obviously with this blade, because it's carbide, now you can work with obviously normal steel, but also stainless steel.
Yes.
And again, to bore those out there, but I'm sure there's plenty of geeks out there in the chat. You probably already are aware of the advantage of moving up to something like carbide, and it's all kind of to do with, the Mohs scale.
Mohs scale, yeah.
So hardness is obviously important. If you're trying to abrade something, you want to be doing it with something harder than the thing you're trying to remove. Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah, we touched on that earlier with the oscillating multi-tool blades.
Exactly. And then the other benefit is, typically speaking, not always, but tell me if I'm wrong, chat, that if you go up in the Mohs scale, then you're typically going to have a material that's able to resist the effects of heat. So it's going to stay keen at higher temperatures, or be able to resist temperature better if it's made out of a
it'll hold that cutting
material.
edge better.
That's right. And that's why when we're talking about high Mohs scale, so I think carbide is between 7 and 9.4, I think for us, or other more exotic materials that we are going to show a few of, which uses diamond. Then you're up to Mohs scale 10, and obviously much better abrasive properties, and obviously longevity and heat management, yes, of course.
Okay. So we manufacture our own carbide, don't we?
So since about 2000, I think it was.
So what's the Mohs scale for that? Because we've managed to get the Mohs scale up quite high.
Yeah, I think last time I looked, and again, I might have to double check this, but I think carbide we can get up to about 9.
It's
4 or
it's
something?
very close to diamond now in
Yes,
hardness. So, but yeah, we manufacture that ourselves.
So, unfortunately, we don't have a demo to show you with this. You can take our word for it, but more importantly, we've got a nice little video here to show actually how well this performs in really hard material. So let's roll that video too. So again, another example of why it's sometimes beneficial depending on what you're working with. So if you are wanting to use stainless steel or you're trying to process stainless steel, then that's a good example why you might want to step up from, say, a pro blade up to an expert blade. But again, even if you're just looking for a longer life and you're not necessarily working in stainless steel, you're just working in normal steel, your price per cut.
That's it.
It makes a lot of sense to go for the expert blade if you are in the market. If, however, you're only using a blade to say cut copper pipes, for example, or some non-ferrous material, then the pro blade is an excellent choice too.
All day long, no problems at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then again, if you're really more price conscious, or maybe you're doing stuff that might be a bit more disruptive, and that's one of the reasons why it's nice to have the flexible blade, because you can really bend these, and because they're quite cost effective, you're not too bothered if you end up buggering it by the end.
Well, if it does catch and snap, then you've got a shorter blade. That's the way I've always worked with them.
But stay tuned, because we have a new expert reciprocating saw that also has a really new smart feature.
Yes.
That will help potentially reduce the chances of you breaking your blades and potentially breaking you.
Oh yes, yes.
So stay tuned next year.
Most importantly, it has a thumb wing.
Oh, don't forget the thumb wing.
Yeah, don't forget the thumb wing.
Philippe's thumb wing.
Philippe's thumb wing. We will.
New Year, it's worth watching just for that.
Just for that, yes.
Okay.
Absolute legend.
So 3 different saw blades to suit your price point, suit your applications, and you've got bimetal, you've got even better bimetal, and then you've got carbide technology if you really want to go for the Gucci expert stuff. Right, so again, we'll pause for a second to see whether or not we might have had any questions, Matt. If not, we'll keep going.
Yes, we've got a question here from Delusion Portland. Would your 9-inch recip saw blade be suitable for your new compact GSA 18V24 compact saw?
Yes, it will fit. And it will operate. The only thing you're going to be limited by is the stroke length. If you had it in a full-size recip saw blade, you've obviously got a longer stroke length. But yeah, it will still function perfectly with a 9-inch blade in that.
In many cases, it's always you need to be a bit, not sympathetic is not the word I'm looking for. You've got to have tool feel.
Yeah.
So you all
mechanical sympathy.
That's what I was looking for. Yes. So you can feel how much progression. If you're not making much progress, there's no point pushing harder on a recip saw.
If you feel that you're currently running the risk of damaging your machine, then you're probably running the risk of damaging your machine.
And we know that you know when you're abusing tools. We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But again, short stroke length means you have to run a little bit slower necessarily.
Yeah. But here we go.
Cool. Any more questions, Matt?
We've got a question on a tool, if we can quickly go off topic.
Let's go for it,
Yeah, even though I'm an accessories man. Can you give us any update on the new corded M-Class dust extractor with integrated Bluetooth for the remote and D35 hose?
What update would you be after on it? Because I've got one standing behind me. We use them regularly in
I
the
would
workshop,
say
and they are
I was going to say, it's not
very much available.
Yeah, it's not new. Is it there? Retrofit, off topic, is there a retrofit? Is that the one, is that one from, who's it from?
It's
Neil
from
Welford.
Sander Watcher.
Oh, well, actually, maybe we're looking a bit confused because as far as we know, there's not a new M class.
No.
There is potentially
yes.
a new L class, and maybe that's what you
Yes.
might have seen. And obviously, you're not aware that it's not going to be an M class, but it is going to be
The 6.
yes, the coolest one.
Yes.
So that's not coming out yet. So you're going to have to stay
not long.
tuned. Not long. It's going to be very early next year.
Yes. Maybe
we have a sample of
next
it already.
live stream or the live stream after.
Maybe
Yes.
what you saw is you might have seen some videos of it from the Pro experience.
Yes.
And maybe if you actually joined us for the Pro truck tour,
Oh yeah.
we had the one sample in the UK that was being shown around then. So maybe that might be what you might have seen. But it's not an M class, but it's a very nice small L class for quite a lot of little applications, especially because it's wet and dry.
Great for cleanup. I'm sure there's a few Sparkies out there who probably won't buy one, probably should. But yeah, great little thing for cleanup. Little strap. There you go.
Cool. Okay, so any more, Matt?
I think we're good for the moment.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we'll move on to the next. Let me check time. About 10 past 6, we're doing okay.
Go on. Yep.
Okay, so we're going to now move on to jigsaw blades. We have a lot of jigsaw blades, and actually we
Yes.
haven't done a jigsaw special. I think that maybe that's something. Let us know whether or not you
No.
would like us to go through our entire jigsaw range.
If you think a 3-hour live stream's bad,
Oh, part 1 and part 2.
it's going to be part 3 as well.
I know.
It's an epic range. But yeah, it's probably something that we may be able to just sort of scratch the surface on, maybe. Yeah, there's quite a lot.
Okay, so again, just like we did for the multi-tools, we want to try and prove a point that there is a logic to our naming structures. In fact, I'm pretty sure that for recip saw blades and also what we're going to show you here in a minute with jigsaw blades, the Bosch, obviously, I think we've set the standard for the naming convention for
Yes.
many of these accessories. So we haven't just made this up for our own sake. I think we've made this the standard. So,
Well, it's T-shank is our own invention anyway. Same as,
2000s, I think it was T-shank. And that
yes,
became,
2000.
became the standard
Yeah.
for pretty much everyone out there that, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest, that's serious about their jigsaws.
you'll find that they're all using this same naming structure for their blades anyway. So.
Right, let's see if I can get the image to come up. Ha! Oh, it didn't happen.
Oh,
My weak energy. There we
that's
go.
a
Here it
small
is.
one.
Right, again, we just wanted to bring it up here again. If you really want to read that in detail, you get little magnifying glasses out and you can pause the video. But again, it's just pointing out that the naming structure on these particular jigsaw blades, all our jigsaw blades, have a form of logic. A lot of it's going to be, again, what type of shank, what's the kind of, the type of toothing. Is that the correct term? Can we call it toothing? Was that a German translation?
Yeah, the type of toothing
Toothing,
characteristics.
yes, exactly. The type of teeth you've got.
Yeah,
tooth
basically
pitch.
the side milling and all that sort of stuff.
right,
the
yeah.
tooth angle design.
Yeah.
Tooth pitch is important, obviously, when it's talking about the.
But the thing that I think
speed
we're
of
going to
cut.
focus on the most is things that are all in this third category, like the characteristics. If it's bimetal, if it's designed for scroll cuts, maybe it's carbide, maybe it's not carbide, maybe it's based on other things. Okay, maybe it's a down cutter, maybe it's an up cutter.
Maybe it's classed as a knife. It doesn't even have any teeth at all.
Exactly,
There's
right.
so many different.
Right, okay, so let me waft that away. You've seen enough of that. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to have a look at a number of our jigsaw blades. The first one I want to show very quickly is we're going to start actually with metal jigsaw blades.
Yes.
And then we'll do a little teaser, just top line, to show you some of the wood jigsaw blades that we've got in the market.
Yeah.
Some of the differences between, again, some more entry-level blades, some mid-range blades, and some real good expert blades. And it's really when you're working in things like countertop and things that are millimetre
Yeah, your
based.
furniture board,
Furniture
that sort
board,
of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to have some of these. And it's not necessarily about materials that are used in the manufacture of those particular jigsaw blades. It's about the innovative design that allows you to cut clean both sides on furniture board. Is quite an undertaking these days.
That's right. Now, I have...
Not sure where you put them, have you?
I think I might have misplaced those. The jigsaw blades. Oh, here they are. Put them up here. I hadn't misplaced them. I'm not that bad. Okay, so the first one I want to show you is an example here of a basic for metal jigsaw blade. Okay. Again, sorry, it's in the old packaging, but obviously this will be replaced with white packaging. But you get the idea. It's differentiates itself enough from the Pro range. So this is like your basic metal jigsaw blade, ideal for straight cuts in metal. It is bimetal. High carbon steel. Sorry. Where is it? It says it on there. HSS. High speed steel. Sorry, high speed steel.
Yes.
And is designed for what are we looking at? Fine tooth pitch of 0.7 millimeter. So it's designed for your half a millimeter to 1.5 millimeter, but it's only really designed for steel cutting, steel plates.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So aluminium, obviously steel, but we wouldn't recommend this for stainless steel, for example.
I think that comes under steel sheets rather than steel plates.
Thank you. Not plates.
Plates is,
Yeah, not plates.
is over like 3 or 5 mil, I think.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I'll get told off. The chat will get me for that one.
Yeah.
Yes. Sheets. Very important to point that out. Yes. Okay. Now, the advantage with this, again, it is a very nice, cost-effective jigsaw blade. That's why it's part of the Bosch line. I think we originally used to call it the basic for metal. So
Yeah.
if you're doing very thin sheets of metal, aluminium for example, then we'd recommend this blade.
Tread plate loves that. That will go through that, no problems at all.
All right, so, but if you want a little bit more longevity, I'm going to grab the next one up there, and you can see from the packaging, again, so back to now up to the Pro line, you see at the bottom, we've got the 2 times longer lifetime, again, probably partly due to that extra coating. These are our Pro thin metal. I'm going to have to read off it because these are quite new to me, which is the T101 GFC. So new, the acronym for the name is also beyond me at this stage. The extra coating, I'm allowed to tell you, it's not super secret, but it is based on aluminium titanium nitrate, and that again helps pull the heat away from the teeth,
Yeah.
and that's how you get the additional longevity.
You'll find that's probably the same coating that they put on the recip blades. They just don't make it public.
Yeah, I think we're being a bit more honest nowadays, but
Yep.
again, a really nice extra coating to give you that extra longevity. Now this, as you can see from the icon at the top there, okay, this is still only designed for that thin metal sheets.
Sheeting, yeah.
Still not recommending this for stainless steel, but that's fine. If you want to cut sheet steel, feel free to go for your Bosch line. If you want a blade that's got a bit more longevity, then you can go for the Pro. However, let's bring it into shot. If you want
Oh, it's a lovely blade, these.
Oh, they are lovely. They're really good blades. However, if you are wanting to work in up to stainless steel,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, this will be excellent in anything less than stainless steel, obviously.
All day long in mild steel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no problem
Right.
at all with that.
But you can see here from the bottom, you can see that obviously with these blades, so expert tough metal, thin. I don't know if you can read that there, but these are T118 AHM jigsaw blades. And you can see here, this is now using that carbide technology. Trying to try not to catch light.
You can actually see on the blade, if you look at it really closely, the actual layer of carbide at the end that the teeth are cut into.
Yeah, so carbide technology, and then you can see here, that gives you up to that 50 times longer lifetime compared to the standard Bosch line accessories. Yeah. And we've got a little video that will play you in a minute just to prove that point actually. But the advantage here, again, if you're working in stainless steel, or if you're not, but you want the additional longevity, then this could be the kind of accessory you want to run. Now, before we show that video, I've got one video that I'd like to show, which is obviously the Pro jigsaw blade video, and then we'll show another video showing exactly the benefit of the expert one. So let's try and play the Pro metal jigsaw blade, Ollie. So hopefully that made it pretty clear. That's explaining the Pro Metal Thin T121, is it
FC.
GFC. We have to get used to that one because again, that's quite a new one to us. So again, if you're working in thin non-stainless steel, great blade with that additional runtime or lifetime of extra 2 times longer compared to your basic for metal blades. However, the one we want to show as well, we're going to do we've got 2 videos we want to show here, is we first want to show you obviously the really cool nifty accessory video showing the expert tough metal blade. Let's play that. Right, obviously those are marketing videos, so they're all nice and Gucci. They show some of
Yes.
the technology. However, we did want to do a demonstration. I have it here on the desk, but you're not going to believe me unless, if it pictures or it didn't happen.
Yes.
We did better than pictures, we did video. So what we did in this little demonstration is we had some 3mm stainless steel sheet, not plate, sheet, and we used all 3 blades to see how far we could cut. Again, we are fully aware that the first 2 blades, the Bosch line and the Pro,
Yep.
are not designed to cut stainless steel.
So this is a torture test again,
Absolutely.
like the previous one.
But we wanted to prove a point just to show, again, if you are wanting to work in stainless steel, or if you're not wanting to work in stainless steel, but you fancy the step up to an expert blade.
There's a clear difference.
Clear difference.
Clear difference.
So
Night and day.
let's play that video, and we'll. I don't know if we need to talk over this one. Let's just play the video, and we'll come back after.
Yeah.
Right,
Wow.
it's just, yeah.
That was an epic undertaking, wasn't it? Yeah.
So do apologise that you had to watch a 1-minute 40 video, but that's how long the demonstration took me to do.
Yeah.
I probably could have got a little faster, well, at least with the expert blade, but hopefully that illustrates the point that yes, although the Pro blade and the standard Bosch line blade are excellent when used in their appropriate conditions, stainless
Yeah.
steel is a bit beyond them.
I did this demo just before you did, and I got similar results when it comes to the Bosch line and the Pro blade. However, I stopped because I thought I'd blunted off the expert one. But after taking a look at it, carried on, did the rest of the cut because it hadn't actually got that heat bloom on it like the rest of the blades.
So again, I'm really enjoying our super close-up. So I want to show you the actual what happened to the other blades on the super close-up lens. So if I pop over to that for me very much, which I'm gonna.
Wow,
I
that's
don't want that on. So let's switch that off. So
that is smooth.
all right, see how close I can get. I love this. This setup is so much great. so great for us. Right, so you can see here on the Bosch line blade, I tried my best, but obviously I've destroyed that. There's no teeth left on that. Unsurprising. Come to the Pro blade, you'll see the same thing here. The same section here, the heat build-up was pretty immense, and very quickly I liquefied those teeth. Now here we go. How about this then, ladies and gents? So that was, well, I can't remember what it was. Is that about 30 centimeters stainless steel?
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
That's impressive.
Those teeth might as well be brand new. I've obviously marked the blade, but those teeth, as far as I'm concerned, they are almost as good as new.
But there's no blooming on that at all. It's discoloured the paint a little bit, but that's about it.
If I cut to the close-up camera for a second, you'll see this is the plate. Sorry about my terrible cut, but you can see there's about as far as I got with the Bosch line, the Pro line, and actually the whole length of that plate was on the Expert. And as you can see, I could have carried on going. I could have done feet. I don't know whether I would have run out of time. You guys would have got bored watching me go. So when we make the claim about 50 times longer lifetime, we're being Bosch here. We're being super conservative.
Yeah, we had some 2mm stainless steel as well. Can't for the life of me find it anymore. Probably someone's pinched it because it's probably worth a bit. But we managed to cut strips off of that. Yes. Back probably a couple of years ago when we did it before.
And that's why Dan always says that's one of my favourite blades, because really, as a trainer, there's nothing better than being able to do a demonstration where it's just night and day. And that's an excellent, excellent blade. Now, we didn't want to limit it to just our metal blades. I've got a few wood blades that we wanted to just touch on very briefly. I've got a couple of little examples below me down here. I can pass these for you, Dan, because actually you're very familiar with these as well.
Yes, I can.
So we've got, essentially we've got technically four blades here, and we wanted to use it on some furniture board, didn't we?
That's it. We obviously wanted to get the cleanest cut possible, as you would if you were building something out of furniture board, or you were fitted wardrobes or drawer units, that sort of thing. You'd want to get the best cut possible. So there's a clear choice in which design of blade that you buy. If you want to cut from the underside of the material and have a good finish on top, then you cut with an upcut blade. So basically, you're cutting on the downstroke, which isn't breaking up the surface of the melamine. If you were to fit the other way, the blade with the teeth coming up, it would just pop the surface off. So the choice of direction of teeth is critical when it comes to a clean cut in furniture board. However, with the Expert blade there, which I can't for the life of me remember the name of it.
Well, it's, either way, they're both either they're two-side clean, either hardwood or standard.
There you go. You can use the super close-up camera there.
Just cut over time, you see. Oh, well, I need to manually do it. Hold on. Some multitasking today. Okay, so there we go. So this is one of the two-side cleans. This is just the wood one. I've also got the hardwood one on the line here. You can see from the naming that's the T308B on this particular one. We've got quite a few in this range. Again, it's another reason why we might want to have a special live stream on just Jigsaw blades.
Yes, this one here is the BFP. This one has the opposing teeth on it, but also it has a point in the centre. Now you're going to get the best quality of cut.
I'll show that on
with
the super duper. Let's go super duper close up.
If that stays within the material, see that point, that where the teeth converge in the centre. If that stays in the piece of material whilst you're cutting, you're getting a clean cut top and bottom all the time, all the way through the cut.
Everyone wants a clean bottom.
Yep, exactly. But you have to spec this with the, a jigsaw that will keep, with a stroke length that will keep that within that material. So this particular one here, coupled with the GST 18V-155 range, the barrel grip or the bow handle, absolutely perfect every time.
That's right. Again, thickness of material matters.
Yeah.
But
you'll find that the other one we had here, you've pinched that one for that one. Nope, that's the wrong one. The other one you have here, for the 125, gives you the better option. So the GST 18V-125 bow handle and barrel grip will give you a better finish on this one.
But let's illustrate it, because we've got these boards that we've pre-cut already.
Yes.
Because you can see, we've talked the big game about the technology in these blades, and why we've got different tooth profiles, why we've got some up and down cutters on the two-side cleans. But we've got these couple boards that we've pre-prepared. We could have done it live. Maybe we'll do it live in the future.
It's very difficult for us to clamp a piece of material here and do the cut and then
So hopefully, yeah, it's all about stroke length. That's right, Dave's workshop. You're correct.
Yep.
But if hopefully you're getting to the stage where you trust Dan and I that we're not going to BS you. But again, we're happy to film this again, or do it live next time when we've got a bit more space. There's quite a few demos that we've got set up. But on the boards you see here, I don't know, if you cut to the close-up camera, and you can see, hopefully you can see the quality difference. So that would be your basic for wood, so that might be your Bosch line blade.
Yep.
Oh, again, you know, it's not designed. It's a very cost-effective blade. You're not going to be using this for this application. Again, this is an inappropriate blade if you want good finish when working in furniture.
Well, you'll find that that's pretty bad on both sides as well. So yeah, it chews up the material there.
Okay, so here on the top is now we are using one of the expert blades. It's going to be the two-side clean. Okay, that's the. Let me remind myself, the T308B.
Yep.
Okay, and you can see pretty good on the top.
Yeah. And I would recommend that
Really
blade
good
with the
on the back.
155, 100%.
Now,
155.
we can make our excuses by saying, hey, it's actually pretty old furniture board. We could have used something a bit newer that might have had an absolutely perfect finish. But I'm being honest, for an old bit of Conti, that's pretty good.
If we can cut it that clean, considering this has been around and dried out a fair bit, then imagine what it'll do in a fresh piece of Conti board.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a board that was comparing basically an entry-level blade versus an expert blade. So you could say unfair test. So what I've got here is I've got another cut. So let's have a look close up of this. And it says, do you know what? That's looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And what we've got there is on the bottom, we've got our expert blade. This one being a slightly different one, being the 308BF. Okay. This is your, again, two-side clean with your opposing up and down cutters. And on the top, we've got a clean for wood blade. This one being the T101BR.
That's a down cut as well.
So see the quality on this side? Pretty good, right, Dan? Pretty good. Let's flip it over. And you can see now the one on the bottom is going to be the clean for wood, which is great, but only one side is nice, whereas, as per the name, two-side clean,
Yeah. Both
you
sides.
get what you get. It says what it does on the tin. Or is that, can I say that, or was that another brand thing?
That's another brand thing.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm on a roll today.
Yeah.
I said Gucci.
So now everybody's going to go home and they're going to climb into their wardrobe and they're going to look at the furniture board on the inside just to make sure that the fitter was using a good quality blade.
We shall see. But that is something that we actually experience quite a lot. We've spoken to a lot of users, a lot of companies, and we've been demonstrating the many varieties of two-side clean, and they are, can you say amazed?
Yes.
They're shocked. And always tell us, why don't I know about this? Well, you do now, and hopefully you guys are aware too. If they have the choice, pick any of our two-side clean blades, especially if you care about double-side quality. Even if you don't, it's good on both sides. So even if you don't worry and don't care, these are still outstanding accessories. But we're not going to go into too much detail on these particular blades.
He says after we've gone into too much detail.
No, that's top line for me. So we'll move on to the next category. But before we do, actually, Matt, let's pause for a second, see if you've got any questions for us.
We've got a jigsaw blade question.
Ooh.
I don't know if you'll know this, guys. Tensile strength of stainless steel jigsaw blades.
Not something that is on that massive diagram of facts and figures about blades. Tensile strength, no.
Always interesting. Who's that going to be? Is that going to be the delusional Portland asking that
It
question?
is.
Yes, I know what you're like. My obvious question is why?
Yes.
What are you trying to do with this jigsaw blade?
Yeah. You'd only actually really have that issue if you were to clamp the blade down and run it, but then again the machine wouldn't run because of overload protection. So yeah, it would never get to that point where it would.
We don't have a
catch and stretch it. So
say,
ductile strength would be plenty for a jigsaw.
Yeah, I was going to say we don't have a value on it. Maybe we could find out. I don't know if it's something we measured, but the actual design of the jigsaw blade itself has actually a carbide strip incorporated into it, and that is supposed to provide better rigidity and strength. So actually, the blade itself is actually much tougher than normal blades, regardless of the actual carbide tooth technology as well. But we haven't measured it. It's not something that's really appropriate to us. But hey. Maybe we'll ask the question to the product managers. Maybe Matt can pass it up the line and see whether or not anyone's even tried to measure it.
If we could get an idea of maybe why it's required, why that may help us find out.
Yeah, sure.
I'd be curious.
Okay. Any more questions, Matt?
Not that I can see.
Okay. I can see that the chat is they're chatting amongst themselves. I'm sure hopefully you're enjoying this special live stream. Now we're moving on to some accessories that are actually a fond favourite of mine, but I think I've been talking too much, Dan. So we're going to have a look at some of our hole saws.
Yes.
Now there are 3 different categories. I think I've got one that's not in packaging.
Yes.
So as an example, this would be an example of one of our like bi-metal hole saws. This will be a Bosch line, so bi-metal hole saw, pretty standard out there in the market, pretty effective, obviously designed to work in lots of different materials from wood, plasterboard. In many cases it can still work in some lighter steel or mild steel, for example.
Yes, this is perfect for if you're using it on drywall, for instance, and you have metal unistrutting in there. This will go through that as well.
Yeah, so we've added a little bit of cobalt, so it's bi-metal, it's high speed steel, bit of cobalt there to help make it longer lasting when cutting, so it helps it resist like heat and things like that. Yeah. The advantage with this, this particular category, we have 14 to 44 millimeters. They typically have that working length there of 38 mil, so pretty standard. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be, for many people out there, you know, this kind of bi-metal hole saw is going to be like your bread and butter kind of accessory.
Yeah, I know they use these an awful lot over in Europe, obviously, where the plug sockets are actually round, which makes it a lot easier to put a plug socket in over there. But yeah, so these get an awful lot of use in drywall, and again, very capable. Yeah. Oh.
Important to point out that obviously most, if not all of our hole saws are all power change adapter compatible, so power change quick change, power change plus.
Yes.
So ability to take them on and off really quickly. Same thing for the pilots, that we've upgraded the pilot bits as well to a generation 2 that makes them it holds the bit firmer better, so it doesn't wobble as much compared to the first generation.
Yeah.
So
interestingly, if you have another brand of hole saw, you can buy the adapter plates that screw into the back of those to allow you to use them with the power change plus adapter
I
as well.
thought I had considered that, and I had a little example here with another type of hole saw.
That's an older one we've got there,
which has obviously the screw bottom, but you have these little adapters, and for this or third-party ones, you've got the 2 different type of screw thread, which allow you to convert that into a power change compatible hole saw. So good point to bring that up, Dan. I hadn't thought about that. Okay, so let's move on to the next one on the list. I've got some packaging here, and I've got the actual examples in front of me now.
There you go.
So now we're moving on to the Pro packaging. So this is a Pro multi-material hole saw. Okay, so this has a benefit of longer lifetime. You can see on the packaging it's 2 times longer lifetime. It also has an additional 8% of that cobalt. It's even on the packaging here for additional durability. Now we've designed this again for the same kinds of materials. So your wood, your plasterboard, your mild steel, for example, copper, non-ferrous metals and plastics. But due to the design, it's a little bit of clever wizardry in regards to the construction of it. We can now get a little bit more lifetime out of this hole saw compared to the standard Bosch line accessory.
Yeah, it's to do with the basically the way that it handles heat. But again, this the cobalt you mentioned there, so it's 8% cobalt alloy. So it's the whole of the hole saw rather than just the teeth. So the whole thing is made out of a cobalt alloy.
Yeah. So again, it's the same, basically the same kind of concept. But if you're wanting to pay a little bit more money, but I would argue that the calculation works out better because you're going to get more. It's not going to be twice the price, so you're probably going to get more performance or longevity out of this. So
price per cut is favourable.
Okay, so moving up to a big personal favourite of mine is.
Oh, these are a lot of fun.
Yes, exactly. Let me get the box for it as well.
There you go.
Then we're looking at some expert multi-material hole saws. Now with these ones, again, pretty obvious. Guess what? We've gone to carbide, and then you've got a massive performance boost in that one when it comes to long lifetime. So we're thinking about 50 times longer lifetime. Carbide being a harder material, obviously on that Mohs scale.
Yeah, we've got a little bit more depth on these as well. So a little bit more reach into steeper materials because it can cope with that.
And again, the advantage with the carbide is the fact that because you can run it hotter, and these, especially these ones with the multiple teeth, when you're working in things that have got like OSB, plywood, when you're going to have that glue, resinoids, it's going to be, you're going to obviously build up a lot more heat because there's a lot more friction.
Yeah, it's a bit sticky when it goes through them. It heats up the glue and the glue binds to the holes.
Exactly, and there's plenty of examples out there when you're working and you get a lot of heat build up, and that's what happens with these hole saws regardless. that heat building up is what's going to dull your normal and maybe even some of your pro hole saws, depending on how aggressive you're being.
Yeah.
So if that's your kind of job, if you're doing a lot of holes and you want to you've got a lot of repeat holes to do, so you don't want to have any downtime. You haven't got enough time to let those accessories cool down, right? Then carbide is a good choice. If, however, that's not your bag and you're only needing to use occasional, then you've obviously got the Bosch and the Pro line to do those kinds of more infrequent holes. If you don't do it very often at all, maybe one, hey, Bosch line's fine. If you've got to do a few, or you're concerned about longevity, you don't want to have loads of slightly burnt out accessories, then go for the Pro. However, Expert is the place to be, especially if you're wanting to work in multi-material. Because we've said carbide, cool for longevity, but because this is multi-material, that means it's also able to work in nail-embedded wood.
Yes.
So if you do hit some nails, that's good.
And
Not
brick
good.
as well.
It's not good, it's bad.
Yeah,
but it's good that you've got an accessory that might be able to help deal with that by cutting through it.
Brick as well. We'll do that.
Soft tiles.
Soft tiles.
Can work in steel, a mild steel, and obviously if it does all that, go do plastics.
Yes, yeah. One thing I will say when using a hole saw, a bit of a hint from something that I've learned in the workshop when I use hole saws fairly regularly. Invest in a bottle of router bit cleaner. Now it might seem a little bit odd to buy router bit cleaner when you're not dealing with router bits. However, a quick spray down and a wipe off will remove any debris that's built up or any lanolins from the wood, which will cause the blades to get duller quicker. Anything on the blade that can cause it extra friction and it heat up is obviously going to contribute to the wear or the premature wear of that particular blade. So the stuff's great, honestly.
If you're
Give
too
it
cheap,
a go.
yeah, let me know if I'm wrong. If you're too cheap to do that, could you also just stick it into some brick? And then clean it off with something else. Was that a thing I've misheard? Maybe I've misheard
No,
that.
you can clean diamond
Diamond.
core bits
That's
or
it, yeah.
diamond burr bits by putting them into wood because it cleans out the masonry dust from the diamonds. So that lasts longer as well. But router bit cleaner for hole saws, it's a great move. Someone gave me a bottle and I thought I'd give it a try just to make them look more presentable. And they're like they were brand new again. So yeah, definitely worth a try.
Right, so, but I wanted to do a little shout out to one of the actual other hole saws that I like, part of the Expert range, which are these ones. These are, I think we call them multi-construction.
Yeah.
Let me show them side by side, and you can see that fundamentally the difference is that you've got less teeth on the multi-construction one compared to the multi-material. Pros and cons. I mean, obviously this one is designed to work in a lot more multi-material. So this one can work in metal, whereas this one cannot, or should not, because you're more likely just to knock the tooth straight off.
Yeah.
But this is ideal, especially if you're working in brick. But in this case, I'm going to show you actually why I prefer using this particular one when working in timber.
So that has 2 teeth on it,
This
as
particular
opposed
one
to
has
the
2.
multiple teeth on there.
If you go bigger, you might get 3.
Yes.
I think 3 or 4 is the max, I believe.
Yeah, minimum's 1.
Yes.
There is one with 1 tooth. However, that does benefit from cooling. So you've got the entire, half of the rotation of the actual hole saw is cooling. So you're not constantly on the cut in the same place. Tooth gets warm, obviously, in the cut, but it's quite dramatic when you try and put a hole through a piece of wood, which I believe you're going to try now.
I want to just do a quick demonstration. I wasn't going to do a comparison.
There you go.
I didn't want to do a comparison, but again, this is one of the demonstrations I really enjoy doing because if you are used to using your normal multi-tooth hole saw, then you are used to having to push a little bit. It's cutting away, you obviously get a bit of build-up. And a lot of the reason why you get a lot of heat is because it takes a little bit longer to go through material. Now, I wanted to use some OSB, but we have some, is it pine, is it?
Pine, yep.
Just some pine, which is, again, actually a little harder to work in compared to OSB, which you'd go through pretty simply because it's OSB.
OSB, it kind of explodes through OSB.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very dramatic. But we'll try this on a piece of pine and see how you go.
Exactly. So I'm going to be using, let me see, one of my favourite tools, obviously a GSR in this case, an 18V-150C. What diameter have I got? 51. Okay, pretty straightforward. I put it into speed 2 because, of course.
Yep.
And I'm just going to very quickly, hopefully show you the fact that this should be, for those who are familiar and you've used hole saws in the past, hopefully let me know whether or not you think this is faster than a normal multi-tooth hole saw.
I'm going to hold it up the top there.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
So
Might do that a bit higher.
Go higher. Oh, okay. I'll do another one.
But it looked impressive from here. You'll see it in a minute.
Yes. Well, let's do 2 holes. That's fine. Right. Are you sure? Cool. Oh, hold on, my pilot.
Live TV.
Oh,
It's always the same. Oh.
God bless. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Let me just reacquire my pilot bit.
Small intermission. Smooth.
Love it.
Ready?
Yep, cool. It's high enough, right? Okay. There we go.
Spent longer putting it back together again.
Yeah, that is true. So again, one of the reasons why I absolutely love this particular one is just, again, the speed at which you can work in any kind of timber, especially OSB and things like that.
Yeah.
It's so much faster. So, and again, the power change adapter makes even just that part of the process, taking the bits of wood out, so much easier. As long as you don't lose the pilot bit and roll it off your desk, you'll be a lot quicker. But who are we kidding? So, a little demonstration done. Hopefully, I've sold you on the idea of at least considering less teeth to run quicker.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Bear in mind, if you're not sure about them, you can buy them separately. You don't have to go and buy a big set of them. So,
No.
yeah.
I think for most of our multi-construction bits, we're ranging from about 20mm for many, and they go all the way up to 152, which is about the maximum the 150 runs.
Yes, 152. I have one of those in the workshop.
Yeah. For the pro multi-material, actually we've got a bit of a wider range. That's from 14 up to 210 actually. So there's depending on what accessory you're running, you actually have a bit of a different variance. But again, if the experts are in your range and you want to be fast and you want to have longevity, you've got some great choice there.
Yes.
Okay, right. So moving on to another topic, but again, maybe we'll pause for a second, see if we've got any questions, Matt, before we move on to some cutting angle grinders.
Let's have a look. Non-accessories, we've got another tool question again.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Neil Welford 3037 asking about a Bluetooth adapter for the 110V gas 35.
Yeah, there's a.
There is.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's a retrofit for that, isn't there? Yeah.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
It's-
Operates with one of these. I've got one just here on the desk. It's almost like I knew. So we got the little the remote adapter that fits on the handle of the machine. And it's actually a retrofit plug that goes into the 230, or in your case, a 110-volt socket. And again, when this senses vibration, or you press the button, will simulate a draw on that socket, which will switch the vac on. So
Yes, give me 1
simple
second.
as that.
Yeah, I'll find the name of it because I think is it GCT and the GCA?
GCT, one's a transmitter and one's a receiver. So yeah, I'm sure there's some logic to it.
But-
GCT is the transmitter, I think.
Yeah, GCA and GCT,
Yep.
30-42, I think it is, 42. We did a live stream on our dust extraction systems. We obviously go through that in whichever one is about dust extractors,
Yeah.
which might be probably the first
Probably first one, Dust 1.
one. Yeah, maybe it was Dust 1. So if you want to have a watch of that, then that will give you a good example of a lot of our dust extraction technology, including that retro kit that will work as long as the device has a take-up plug.
That's it, yeah. The first part of the trilogy, that was.
Yes, yes, it was. They were long ones for sure. That's the only question, right, Matt?
Yep, for the moment.
Cool. Okay. So the next thing we want to go on to very quickly, and I'm aware of time, so we will speed along. There's a few things. There's definitely we want to do some sanding before
Yes,
we finish.
definitely.
So let's be very quickly talking about angle grinders and accessories. I've got 3 examples here, so let me grab them off the back.
You pinched all the stuff this week, haven't you?
No, you've got the fun of it. Yeah, I guess so. It's because I've got the long arms and I can look up.
That's a very good point.
Okay. Okay. Then
Thanks for that.
over to you, Dan. Now, so we've got a couple of bonded abrasive, and obviously we've got a metal wheel.
That's it, yeah. So we know about the, we got there the, that's your Bosch line on, I believe.
Yeah, that'll basically be your standard for metal.
Yep. 1mm diameter on there. 1mm or cutting width. This is your standard for inox or stainless steel, so that will glide through stainless steel, no problem. The Pro one is similar, different type of resinoid built into this as well, so it's a little bit more hard wearing, lasts a little bit longer. But of course, for the expert range here, we have the diamond cutting wheel. The benefit of this is it doesn't get any smaller. These will wear down and gradually get thinner and thinner. I was going to pre-wear one out for you, but I didn't get a chance earlier. But they do get smaller and smaller. In some cases, a smaller one is an advantage. Especially, I've come from automotive many lifetimes ago. And if you're cutting out material in small spaces, then obviously we didn't have small angle grinders. The smaller blades were better.
I'd agree. Convenient, except when you're doing multiple cuts on something of the same diameter and you can't cut it anymore because your disc got too small. So you're probably going to have to either put that in your box for later or bin it.
Yes, you have to. Disc management is quite important when it comes to that sort of thing. But again, you're getting an extended lifetime out of the Pro one above the standard, and obviously with this, it's going to last way longer. Well, this doesn't get any smaller. It has a diamond matrix built into the steel disc itself, which does wear down, not very noticeably though, exposing new diamond in there as you go. So yeah, much longer wearing, that particular one.
So again, just to summarise what Dan said, obviously you've got your standard inox blades for metal cutting, good for your steel and your mild steel.
Yeah, they were originally spec'd for stainless steel, but 1 millimetre for mild steel. This will glide through mild steel, no problems at all.
Yeah, that's what we've done actually, because yes,
it's been taken on board by anyone who deals in, say, automotive body repair or anything like that. That's the disc they go to because of the width.
That's right. Yes, but that's exactly why if you are working in stainless steel, then that's why we'd recommend you step up to the Pro, because that's now something that we specify the difference between the standard Bosch line and now to the Pro is the Pro we would say is better for stainless steel.
Yeah,
so if you're working in mild stainless steel,
then
go for Pro. However, and then you'll get about your 1.5 times longer lifetime compared to your Bosch line.
Yes.
But as you make the point, hey, if you've got diamond and you've got a metal wheel that doesn't reduce in size, and we claim up to 100 times longer lifetime.
Yeah. I can well believe it.
Because because you don't change diameter.
Yeah. You know, we've still got one of these in from when they originally came out in the workshop, just sitting on top of the cabinet.
Yes, that's the one I demo with every time.
Yes.
I'm yet to kill it because as much as we do a lot of training, there's a limit to how many times I'm going to be sat there cutting metal. So it's one of those things of, yes, it's not what you're used to. Everyone is out there in the market is really, really used to using bonded abrasive.
Yeah.
But if you...
Think of all the benefits, though. You don't have the smell, you don't have the dust, the dirt. There's a lot of it. And I come from an automotive trade which has primarily used these. They have their place. However, modern technology is encroaching on that.
Well, yeah. If you want to know more about the benefits from a health and safety perspective, and it's not just all about health and safety, we actually did a bonded abrasive or an angle grinder safety video.
We did.
As a live stream as well.
Yeah.
And one of the main things there is the fact that, hey, not only does this have 100 times longer lifetime compared to the Bosch line accessory, but you don't have to worry about bonded abrasive training, you don't have a shelf life, you don't have to worry about storage conditions, because remember, humidity, temperature really affect anything that's bonded abrasive or resinoidal. Then that's a big thing that you have to consider.
Storage is a really big deal with these as well. I mean, how many of you out there keep your bonded abrasives on a nail in the garage or in your shed or in your workshop? No. Can't do that.
Yeah.
No, not supposed to do that at all. Same as, I think it was storing it laying flat. I think you're supposed to, or was it upright?
Well, flat's definitely, and preferably in the tin still.
Yes.
So there's a very, very long-winded, probably about 3-hour training that we do on bonded abrasives. And that is unnecessary as soon as you step up to a metal cutting wheel, especially a diamond one. We do a carbide one, but in the context of metal cutting, you should be going for the diamond equivalent, the diamond version.
These two here, 3 years from the date of manufacture. If they're beyond that, break them, throw them away, because they're dangerous.
Yes, that's right. But hey, again, it's horses for courses for you. If you are not needing, if you're only working in mild steel, maybe a bit of aluminium and stuff, hey, nothing wrong with the Bosch line accessories. If you are wanting to work in stainless and you want a bit more runtime, lifetime, pop up to the Pro. And if you want something that does away with a lot of the storage and health and safety concerns and risk of discs bursting,
Yes.
then feel free to step up to the Expert accessory with the additional benefit that you're getting 100 times longer lifetime compared to the Bosch line. And price-wise, trust me, it's not 100 times more expensive.
Oh, no.
Not at all. You're going to say, what, £1.50 for one of these blades? You'll get a diamond metal wheel in the 25, £30 mark. Right?
I'd say it's less than 30. Yeah. So I think closer to 20, 25.
That's
I
right,
think.
yeah. So
Out there in the market.
it's one of those things that go, yes, Expert is always going to be the more expensive choice out of the range.
Yeah.
But it might be if you do your cost.
Cost per cut is the
Analysis,
important part, yeah. Then
So,
it's gonna
so
save you a lot of money.
So I just want to show that food for thought. All right, let's move on to the next category. We were going to show Seal 9 and Hex 9.
Yes.
However, due to time restraints,
Yeah,
and the
I
fact
think
that we have shown this
we
in
have
the
shown it
past,
before, yeah.
we're not going to show that today. If you want to see that, we can do a part 2 of this, maybe in the new year, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Because we are going to do more accessory live streams, if you'd like.
We have to keep some of the goodness back, don't we?
True. Another thing that we were going to show is we were going to have a look at the difference between the Seal 9, the normal drill bits,
Yep.
the Seal 9 natural stone masonry bits. I've got some examples. I will.
I think you've got them. You're
No,
bound to have them,
I've got two. I've got the hexes here for examples. So we wanted to talk about the difference between these two accessories here. So we have, we obviously have a Seal 9 in the range. I don't have an example with me, and that's obviously designed for natural stone. Okay, but what I want to show is the new. I think, Matt, are these coming out next year?
These are coming out in January.
January, right? Okay, so these are coming out yes next year. So a little sneak peek of the Pro Hex 5 drill bit. So this is using carbide, very similar to the one I'm going to show you in a minute, the Expert one, but this is designed for stone, concrete and brick. So it is multi-material, but not as much as the one I'm going to show after, which is the Expert carbide multi-material. This one, as you can see from the packaging, has a benefit of up to 2 times longer lifetime compared to the one I discussed but I haven't shown you, the Seal 9 natural stone, which is pretty much quite common in the markets, that kind of kind of accessory. This one has a new continuous carbide cutting edge. And the advantage with that is the fact that compared to normal carbide heads, which have a couple points, they can count as weak points. Instead, there's a single cutting edge that goes right along the top of the tooth, which means it's actually less likely to dull.
It's got a sharpening point that's diagonal across the head as well, obviously, which helps with heat. Dissipation as well.
So that makes this an ideal bit if you're particularly working or predominantly working in harder materials, but you're not wanting to go full multi-material. If that is what you want to do, then hey, we already know about it. We talk all the time about it. Then obviously your logical choice out there in the market, and I don't think I need to say too much.
It's very well respected out there anyway. It's something that's been around for a long time. We've been doing very well.
That's right. So you want to go for your Expert Expert Hex 9 multi-construction bits.
Yes.
And obviously these are multi-construction designed to work in, again, metal, plastics, wood. What makes a difference is also ideal for soft tiles. And is possible to work in lighter concrete. Now we wouldn't recommend this for hard concrete. We'd recommend you go to an SDS hammer for that. But if necessary, you can work in some softer concrete, maybe like things like foundation block.
Yeah, if you're not going too deep, maybe putting in wall plugs into concrete to, I don't know, fasten a shelf up or something like that. It's quite capable of that. Obviously, larger diameters, then yeah, you're going to want to move to something off. You're going a bit deeper, and there's potential of there being rebar in there. You need to step up to a full carbide head with the X7s or X8 bits.
But we wanted to make it obvious that there is obviously a different. There's a step up in materials that can be used with. When you move up to the Expert equivalent drill bits. The advantage with the multi-construction bits is actually, we give it actually we call it centering geometry as its main technology, which means it's really accurate. And that's really great if you're working in things like tile, for example.
Yeah, you're not going to be sliding around all over the place. You can't center pop a tile.
But in reality, but at the same time, in reality, I reckon these have got really good longevity too.
Yes.
They've just decided to go with precision because that's actually probably something that the other bits don't have as much.
Yeah.
So we've
this has a more aggressive tip, as in a more acute tip than the other ones have a more.
Yeah. And the standard demonstration that we do for that is always we just we just, we just drill through a whole bunch of material.
Yep.
And then finally we just go through a tile just to show that it's still keen.
It's still got the keen edge, yeah.
That's right, yeah. Okay, so for time, we've cut a few bits of content out, a few videos.
Yep.
We didn't need to cover those necessarily because I think we've covered things like the diamond metal wheel in the past.
Yes.
It's an outstanding accessory. We've covered a little bit about drill bits, but again, we can cover that in another live stream. But we want to end strong, and we want to end with a really cool demo, Dan.
Yes.
So we're on to sanding.
Yes, we are. I've put a couple of boards around here somewhere. I think I've put them down behind Matt. Matt, you got one of them out for me?
So while Dan's getting the board, I'm going to grab some accessories. I'm going to talk about our range of abrasives.
Oh, yes, yes, you can do that, mate. I'll pop that there. We want both of these up here, I think, don't we?
Well, as you say, I talk too much, and Dan's a big fan of this stuff. But let's go through. I mean, we've got 4 examples of different kinds of abrasives designed for, well, sanders.
Yes.
In this case, obviously, we could have picked different machines. I'll put this down for now.
Yeah, we want to go for, we're going to be using a 125 random orbit sander, the GEX 18V-125.
First one, obviously.
Yep.
This will be your, I guess you call this is going to still be in your standard Bosch line.
That's going to be your standard Bosch line. That's C430. So most recognisable as your regular kind of sandpaper.
Yeah, no problems here. It's still high quality sandpaper designed for wood and paint. It's got a few nice features. Basically the fact that it's designed to help with the grit distribution, so the dust extraction is pretty good. It's consistent and it helps prevent clogging. But it is your standard and very common out there in the market. Everyone's very familiar with C430, designed for just basic hardwood, softwood, and painted wood.
Yes.
Yeah, paint removal. Yes, okay. So your standard C430. If we step up from that, then we're going to something that's actually a big favourite of mine.
Yes, this one's actually remarkably good at removing paint, which is the one that we're going to be demoing alongside our Expert top level product here. So this is the Expert C470. So this is paint, wooden paint remover. So
it's basically the same as this, but faster, 2 times faster.
Yes, aggressive grit, available in all different grits. We have here the 60, I believe. We're all using 60.
Yeah, we'll do 60. This one's 80, but we're not going to do this one.
No, okay.
Or
so
we can do that one and not this one.
Yes, I think I've got a 60 there. So.
Yeah. So this one has got a different surface structure. So this is actually part of, it's still actually in packaging, this is an Expert product. Get some examples at the back there.
Again, this is all, it takes place, there's a process of grain alignment when they put these together. So, yeah.
Yeah. So this, C430 comes in your normal Bosch line, and then you can see here, C470 is in Expert packaging with your main comment here, which is that surface structure, and that gives you that 2 times faster benefit. So it's speed on this one.
These are available obviously in multiple sizes as well, multiple grits from 40 all the way up to 400, and also multiple hole patterns as well. So allowing you to get the best dust extraction for the machine that you have. And again, what I love about our accessories range is it's not just for Bosch machines. It's not brand specific. So you can fit these to all sorts of different machines. If it's a 125 and it's got, say, hook and loop fastening, this is fine. This will work perfectly for you.
Okay, we're going to do a little detour because we're not going to go for necessary speed and performance. We're going to go for something also quite important for many people out there, which is dust extraction.
Yes. Now there's a few versions of this out on the available on the market. However, I strongly believe that ours is better, tougher, and faster at removing material. So this is M480 or Expert M480 sanding net. So this, obviously you're going to get the maximum amount of dust removal because it's drawing the dust through the entire mesh that we have there. So actually you can see, I don't know whether you can see
I
from
think
the
they can see
close-up.
that. Yeah, I mean they can see that it's basically you can see through it.
You can see through it. So yeah.
So that in conjunction, what we recommend is with a pad saver.
Yeah.
Means that you can get up to 4 times better dust extraction compared to your normal C430.
I use pad saver on everything now.
I recommend, regardless, you should
Yes.
do, but definitely with if you're wanting to have a cleaner application, then either go for this and a pad saver. That's the best way. So that's what we call the special particle control.
Yes. The other thing about this is it's incredibly tough. Unlike some things out there, it's obviously if you give it loads of pressure and try and rip it, then it will tear. But
if you catch it on a nail, then it's not going to immediately destroy the abrasive material.
I've stretched it. That's a pretty tough bit of kit.
Yeah, so don't worry about, as I said, we've obviously designed it to make sure that it's not just going to fall apart on you.
I've ruined it.
Luckily, we're not demoing. That'll still be fine.
That's fine.
So up to 4 times better dust extraction. So if you want to do a job and dust extraction is your priority, then go for the M480. So also expert.
Yeah.
However, the one that I knew, and this is the reason why I knew Dan wanted to do this section, is we want to talk about the last one.
Yes. So this is the expert M480.
No, that was my mistake.
Oh no, you've done it wrong.
Yeah.
This is the
780.
780.
Sorry.
So this is a sanding foil. You can see we've blazoned Bosch Expert all over the front of it there, along with the grit as well. So you can quite easily see it in the packaging. But this is actually foil backed. This is not a paper. This is not a net. This is not a membrane that you'll find on some of our other hand sanding stuff. This is a foil. So again, ridiculously hard to tear. I've not managed to tear one of these yet. But we're talking about resin top coatings on this as well. And also, what I quite like, you'll see this on the...
I'll do it in a minute.
I'll nip round. I'll show you the air screw on the actual front of the material. So if I can get nice and close there, you can see this embossed pattern of ceramic chips. So they're shaped ceramic. And this particular pattern here allows for material to be dragged via the extractor through all of the holes. So this is second to none dust extraction from a solid surface rather than a net. And in addition, I think we don't have it on the 125, but on the 150 versions of these, there is an alignment strip to ensure that you get it perfectly aligned with as many holes as possible in application as well. So really good dust extraction.
They're exactly, especially with the 150. It's multi-hole design, so it's designed to work with a whole wide range of our and also competitor backing pads. So dust extraction is optimal on all occasions. But as Dan points out there, the ceramic grain, the air screws, and also that foil backing makes this. You know, this is why this is our best abrasive. We can't even call it sandpaper because it's not using silica. So our best abrasive material.
You want abrasive material for wood? This is the one you go for. You want abrasive material for plastic? This is the one you go for. If you want it for metal, this will do it as well. This is a true multi-material. You want to use it wet? There you go.
Yeah. On top of
anything
top of that,
you want to use it on.
We even found out very recently that it's even ideal for working in automotive.
Yes. Yeah.
So there are plenty of things out there that this can do. So this is your multi-material sanding, abrasive accessory.
Yes. The air screw design exists on the coarser grains up to 120 grit, I believe. But everything above 120 grit has a standard, almost like a golf ball pimple type thing, because it works better than the air screw design when we get to grit that small.
Yeah.
But very, very, very efficient way of moving material fast.
So I guess you could say the last, this is going to be our last little demonstration. What I think we've got here is, I have to get my phone out actually to do a timer because it's so aggressive, we can't do it for too long, can we?
No. I still think the standard stuff here is going to do pretty well with this as well. So,
Right, so we've got, let me just double check. Yeah, we're all 80 grit.
80 grit. I'm going to get a fair fight here.
Your machine's down there.
Yep, and you've got the... I'll let you turn the vac on. Oh, I'll take those glasses off and put on the...
So what we've got here is we've just got a bit of furniture board that Danny painted literally just today, for this demonstration. It's white underneath black paint. I think we'll try... What do you want, 5 or 10 seconds?
I don't know. How about we ask the people out there?
All right, chat, how long shall we do? We're using the M class, we're using the gas 18V-12MC. Because, hey man, it's a bi-turbo dust extractor, it's the best one. But how long should we do this demonstration for? 10, 5 seconds? We're going to do, obviously, we're going to use the C430, and then...
Oh, hang on. Yeah, we want to
do
do
the
that one
C430
first.
and then we'll do the 0780 foil. There's a little bit of delay in the chat, so we'll wait. 10 seconds from Marcus. Any 8 takers for anything else? Oh gosh. Stopwatch, reset.
So I'm purposely not going to put a massive amount of pressure down. I don't want to stall the pad, but I will do the same for both.
Okay.
10 seconds, we do.
So I'll run the extractor foil, then I'll wait for you, and then I'll press start. So first things first.
I'm going backwards and forwards. until you tell me to stop or give me a kick or whatever.
Well, let's cut to the overhead camera first. You probably can't see my timer, but you'll see that I'm not cheating at least. Okay, I'm going to start the vac and then get ready to go down.
Hang on 1 second. Before we go, I'm just going to put a clamp on the board in case it disappears off the desk. And it wouldn't be first time this live stream. There you go.
All right, give me 1 second then. I'll start the vac.
There you go.
Put it down first, yeah.
Ready?
3, 2, 1.
There you go.
Okay, cool. That's a nice baseline to start with. And now we're going to move to the same grip, but we're going to the 0780. Now this is a demonstration that we've done plenty of times using, say, the new 150, especially the 3mm orbit and the 5mm orbit from the new expert machine. They haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
That's an outstanding machine.
That coupled with this particular material is
super aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll reset that.
There you go. All lined up.
Okay, I'll start it up again. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, hang on. You want to start that again? It didn't start. I didn't press the button hard enough.
So 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so we've only done 10 seconds. We could do a little bit more if you'd like.
If you're actually going around in a circular motion, you get better removal rate, obviously, over a larger area.
But again, if you cut to the overhead camera, we've chosen a nice contrast. I think you can see there's definitely a benefit on this side.
Yep.
We can do another 10 seconds. And let's swap over it. Let's do another 10 seconds and we'll see exactly how much of a benefit you get.
Just want to pop that next to that.
Yeah.
Quickly.
I mean, the advantage here is obviously if you're using it for a longer period of time, you'll find that despite the fact this is still really good technology, that you will end up getting more clogging on this design.
Yes.
The longer you use the 0780, the better effect, the better
in fact, the actual chips will wear down and almost self-sharpen as you're using it. Similar to our Prisma technology, which also uses shaped ceramic. So does this.
Okay, so let's do another 10 seconds. And then I think we'll call it. So give me 1 second. I'll lean over.
Right, hang on. I took my glasses off again. I know the risk's minimal, but still. Ready?
So 3, 2, 1. Let's just swap over now. Let's keep going.
Oh, hang on. Ready?
3, 2, 1. Yeah, I think if we had a bigger board, a bit wider, we can make it a little bit bigger. You'll see a more dramatic effect. But I think that's good enough again for a simple 10 to 20 second demonstration.
You can see it quite clearly on the main camera.
Yeah.
So quite a lot more from here.
So again, So again, the advantage is just the speed with 0780 is also the fact that this is multi-material. The fact you've got a lot longevity as well compared to the normal stuff that we have. But even if you just have this simple demonstration here, just showing how quickly it can remove paint compared to your standard C430.
But that's all torn down 20 seconds. That's pretty good going.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so lastly, before we finish off, we'll see, Matt, if we've got any more last questions. I see a lot of chat in the chat. Maybe they're just chatting amongst themselves, not too many questions, no?
There is a lot of chat, not too many questions.
Okay, then. So, and we're a little bit over. We're done quite well.
Not bad.
Not too bad, not too bad. Right, okay. Just going to have a quick look and see if anyone else in there. Doesn't brand new. Longevity is impressive. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're working in metal, for example, the fact that it's not going to be a card or paper backed, it's going to be that foil back.
Yes.
Really gives you a lot of longevity, especially if you're working on angle on edges or over round things, over edges and stuff. That foil backing.
I've used the quite aggressive grit on body filler, car body filler. Brings that down nicely. So just for rough shaping, rough work, really nice.
Okay, yeah.
And even the finer grits, a really good quality finish. Not saying up to pre-paint qualities, but again, if it's removal rate or shaping, really worth its weight.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the comments there. I mean, I'm glad I got a few guys that are making the point that it's very difficult to do a proper longevity or a side-by-side demonstration in such a short period of time. If we were working on this for maybe a minute,
yeah,
you'd see the difference between finished and unfinished. There's plenty of actual videos that we have in a similar vein to some of the accessory videos we show, showing the clear comparison difference between the foil or the 0780 and your standard sandpaper.
The last thing we want to do as well is to get you to do one side and me to do one the other side, because obviously you've got inconsistencies in the way that you use the machine. Everyone's got different techniques. So trying to keep it as controlled as possible.
And the reality is I wanted to do it on a 150mm random orbital, because it's even more obvious, because those machines are far more aggressive and they really take advantage of the ceramic grip on the 0780. But hey, hopefully this is enough to give a demonstration to show why, what you're looking for, if that's what you need, how you can go up through from C430 up to your C470. I've got in trouble getting this wrong before. If you want dust extraction, M480, and if you want the best of both worlds, multi-material, all that
Shenanigans.
I was
that's
going to
what
say
you're
all
going
that
for.
Bosch juicy goodness.
Yes.
Then you can go all the way up to your 0780.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so let's round it up a little bit. I'm going to see any last questions. We've got some questions about Bluetooth connectivity from Delusional Portal. Feel free to ask it one more time, mate, before we round up, because I can't see it in the chat. It's disappeared somewhere. Let's have a go. When will all your video live streams be available on your channel? Only one available is from 3 years ago. Not sure what that means. If you go to the Bosch Professional UK page, which I assume you're on already, and you go to the live tab, you should see our entire catalogue. We'll double check that it hasn't vanished for some reason. But that is for, nearly 4 and a bit years now, I think.
Yeah, it's getting on for that now.
I can't remember how many. Someone can add it up for me, but I think we're in the range of like something 60-something, maybe.
I think it's more than that. Yeah, it's more than that.
But they should all be there.
It certainly feels like more than that.
We've got Delusional Portal also asking, why do you not put QR codes on packaging when scanned? You get all the. Oh, we do. Yeah. On certain accessories, there are QR codes. Off the top of my head, I know that, say for example, the nailers. There's a QR code on that one, for example.
There you go. Top of the packet there.
There's a QR code on the back of this one as well. So it does depend on different products, which page it takes you to.
Yeah, Accessory Finder works quite well. So.
But then again, maybe, as you say, Delusional, that's the point. That might be the old packaging. And that would not have been something, as an example, would not have been something that we really utilised on the old packaging. So that is all part of this whole topic where we are, we're bringing the 3 performance classes, and we're making the packaging clearer, and also where relevant, where appropriate, we're adding the ability to find out more information.
Yeah, that one's all packaging there,
isn't
it's
not on there.
Yeah, no QR code down. Yeah, so all of the blades over here have the QR codes on them, so something that's obviously been addressed.
Just one more. Yeah, this is old packaging. Yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So
just a barcode, no QR.
So thank you, Delusional. It's like you're my little Debbie McGee assistant. You've proved my point there. The packaging, the new packaging is exactly that, to make it more helpful for you to help decide. If you can't watch this live stream, you can't visit the website for whatever reason, or you don't know where to go, but you're in the shop, for example, then you can easily find that via the QR code. Lovely. Oh, yes. Looks like Jordan there. Jordan NIXting. Yeah, huge packaging overhaul. Maybe there'd be something, Matt, you could make a comment on, where he's making the comment about the fact that we've removed a lot of plastics from our packaging. Is that right? I know that's right.
No, he's exactly right. It's been a big topic for Bosch. Obviously, we're very dedicated to sustainability. And I don't know if you've got any of the old packaging that we can put up.
Well, here's an example of a hole saw in plastics.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And have you got any hole saws?
Here we go.
Yeah, exactly that. Where possible, we've moved from the old sort of plastic clamshell to the new cardboard. So a lot of focus from us, a lot of work has gone into the packaging, and
yeah.
Good,
I was talking to Chris earlier in one of the video breaks about how we manufacture our own carbide, However, we run a zero loss system with the carbide, so any cutting that takes place to sharpen a blade, all of those chippings go back to be recycled into more blades.
Yep. So that might make up. So
Yeah,
the
so
chippings might. Be,
there's no loss. There's no loss. It's super efficient.
that's right. So yes, anything that's cut off a tooth might end up become grit that will end up on, say, a carbide multi-wheel. Yeah, exactly. So there's we're not here to. Well, you know us. Obviously, we're going to be as environmentally friendly as possible. Obviously, all our paper-backed abrasives are all going to be FSC certified.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about whether or not we're sourcing. Obviously, we're not going to be sourcing from suspicious deforestation efforts. We're going to be completely legit. All our production plants, all our factories are all FSC certified. And they've been for quite some time, but
A couple of years now, I think. Maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, long time now.
Yeah, but obviously, probably since the absolute beginning. But it took so long to get the FSC certification because, as a global company, we've just got so many production plants and facilities, and they all have to be audited.
Yeah, even down to packaging for canteen food, boxes that are sent out with tools, everything like that's all been taken into account. And yeah, sustainability wise, we're pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, last few questions because I see Delusional Portals just put in the comment about connectivity. I feel like this is something someone else has asked in the previous live stream, but yes, you are correct. Connectivity is something that we are pulling back from, especially on the power tool side, partly because we're listening to feedback that it's not as important. We're moving away from connectivity control and going back to probably more convenient buttons, and you'll see that especially in the new range of expert tools.
Think about it as when you go out and buy a product, you don't want to buy features that you may not necessarily use. So if we pull back these products, redesign them, or just remove that feature, then we can supply them cheaper to you. So you're getting a better deal and you're not paying for anything that you didn't, or not needing. I'm not saying that everybody out there wasn't using the connectivity, but populace wins at the end of the day, don't they?
And also means the tools can be a little cheaper to manufacture, therefore it won't cost as much for you to purchase. And more importantly, we're not going to take connectivity away from relevant measuring tools, which is where obviously it is far more relevant with things like the level app, and obviously the Measure On app as well, where that is it's very important to have connectivity maintained on that. Same things for some of the thermal cameras, for example, as well. So we'll still have connectivity where relevant. Dust extractor, for example, that's got Bluetooth. But on many tools where it's a connectivity to control functions, then we're going to try and move back to a more user-friendly interface system.
And to be fair, we've done a pretty good job of it so far. I'm a convert, has to be said.
Okay, I think that might be enough for today because obviously we're going to round off just before 7:30. So again, hopefully you've enjoyed this slightly different Bosch Professional Live UK accessory special. We've tried to do our best and listen to you guys and try and do some more hands-on demonstrations. Don't worry, we'll definitely do some more.
Yes, we've got plenty more lined up, maybe in a future accessories live stream.
Right, yeah. I had some people ask, what's the next live stream going to be about? Well, we've kind of hinted earlier on that this is going to be, as always, it's going to be our end of year lineup. So 2025, we're going to look back at all the products, well, not all. We're going to try our best to summarize the massive range of products that we brought out just in 2025 alone. Dan and I
might actually buy you a little gift.
We might buy each other's little gifts. We might gift each other our tool choice of the year.
What I think you'll like.
Yes, well, I can't actually remember what my best tool of the year is, so that's going to be interesting for you to buy me one. There's been so many so many over this entire year. It's going to be difficult. I know what your one is. Easy, ratchet. So 12. But I think it's going to be a lot harder for Dan to pick one for me because I'm a miserable bugger, but also there's been a lot of really great tools out there, so there's plenty for me to choose from. So that's going to be the 10th of December. So join us from there, and that's going to be a good fun one. A bit more informal, it's Christmas special. It's nearly my last day in the office, so I'm going to be reckless. And maybe, because I'm so reckless, maybe I'll also give you some sneak peeks of some of the things that might be coming out.
Oh, yes.
In only a few weeks, so it'll be fine. So products that are coming out in January 2026.
That would be nice, yes.
So, thank you. So that's it from me. So, again, as always, thank you very much from me.
Thank you from me.
And thank you from me. Don't.